Greetings once again as we come to Ravenloft, specifically Castle Ravenloft, as our group of heroes continues their explorations of the ancient catacombs beneath it. Barring any opening statements, we shall continue.
Yep.
And continue we shall.
So I need to say so, yeah.
The next tomb that you come to has a description on its front. It reads, Kazan. His name was Power. His word was Power.
25.
Searching his historical knowledge, Sasha is aware that Kazan is the name of a powerful archmage who unlocked the secrets of lichdom while on this land. He then later tried to become a demi-lich, but failed.
I got 16.
Is there anything inside the, with my detect magic, am I detecting anything magical inside the room?
Quick check real quick.
Because I can see that I'm being trapped. There's fucking high hell.
Do spellbooks count as magical? Like, if you cast detect magic, is there an aura around them normally, or are they just a book?
Probably just a bug.
Sasha detects nothing magical within. Crack gives the door a 1 silver and finds no traps.
Onward.
I want to check out the room more.
You don't want
what
to
is
go to the arcade room?
inside? Yeah, that's. I thought you meant onward is into a different room.
No.
I want to head inside and what does the room look like?
Sasha opens the door and sees there is, in this room like many others, a skeleton draped in rags atop a marble slab. However, this skull has black opals set into its eye sockets. And when Sasha gets even closer, he can see that the teeth are not normal teeth, but shards of some yellowish stone. You think amber.
Amber.
Said he tried to become a demi-lich but failed?
Yes.
I'm gonna get
But he became a lich.
Trapped. 19.
Oh, or demi-lich is higher tier than regular liches?
They're liches without a body.
Oh.
Crack very cautiously, like in the background, is going over this Spartan tomb and finds no traps.
Okay.
I cast Identify on the head.
Okay. Sasha casts Identify on the head. It's not magical. I'm not sure what comes up when Identify, like, hits
There's-
something.
Well, if there's any magical effects on the skull, it would let me know and identify the nature of the magic. It was a lich at some point, so I thought maybe. And all I know about Kazan is that he was an arch lich, or he was an archmage who became a lich.
Yes.
Could
That's
he possibly be dormant? Like with Arcana, can I know if his body could be like dormant or something?
I'd give an Arcana check on that, sure.
27.
It's possible, but with what you've like been met with here, it's not very likely. Like, this, to your knowledge, seems to just be a body. Like, there are ways to kind of hide your lichdom, but this up close and having a chance to like also like try to identify directly on it, you don't think so.
There's
Actually,
nothing
pretty certain.
magical in here. But he could just be protecting. I know that there are spells that make magic auras invisible. It's called Mistel's Magic Aura. I'm probably familiar with spells that block divinations. So just because I'm not sensing that there's anything magical doesn't mean that there's anything magical, and a lich doesn't get buried in a tomb with nothing.
If you wanted to test it out, you can mention one of us to grab your gems.
I won't stop you if you want to grab the gems, but that's not necessarily what Sasha's concerned about. The gems aren't magical themselves
They're
at all.
How many are there?
One in each eye, I'm assuming, right?
One in each eye.
And the teeth.
And you could probably get something for his teeth.
Now,
you might
the
take time.
teeth are amber. Are they made of the same... Does it look similar to what the walls were covered in the Amber Temple?
Yeah, it does.
So he might have became a lich there.
It's quite
If
likely.
if it's like a secret temple of special magic power.
In fact, I'm going to say that even though history says he unlocked it at a temple, you're already familiar with the Amber Temple, so it's not
Right.
too hard to connect.
It appears as if this Kazan became a
When you
lich.
say Kazan,
I fucking explode?
His
Apparently?
word is power.
there is a thunderous sound that shakes the castle to its very core. And then,
I'm still on a horse. I just want to...
above the body, materializes this black wooden staff that has sinister red etchings that almost glow within it. The room turns
What?
cold, but in an unnatural sense.
Oh,
Likely elsewhere in the castle, people wonder what just happened.
Yeah, Strahd didn't know
I'll
we were
have an
here.
Irina grab it. And I'll back
how
up
high-
as it does
How
so.
high above the sarcophagus is it?
I mean, unless Crack wants to go in and check it, but
It's just a couple of feet.
this thing is
Oh,
probably
it's-
trapped as shit.
hovering
Oh.
a couple of feet above. The...
Is it magical?
Oh, then can Irina not reach it?
It could. It'd just have to jump for it. I was
Okay.
just saying he was wondering
You
like, how
have to just
high?
toss it.
High enough that
It is
somebody
no.
could grab it.
Well, I mean,
I'll have the Irina doll grab it. One of the Irinas.
The Irina doll. Okay. One of the Irina dolls has to kind of hop for it. It grabs it, and there's a bolt of lightning that materializes that destroys the Irina. And afterwards, the rod falls, rolls a little on the body, kind of falls off to the side, and then onto the floor.
I'm gonna cast Identify on it and determine if there's any other magical traps. Actually, I should ask: can Identify be used to tell if there's a magical trap on something? Since it determines magical effects on objects or creatures.
I'll say only if the magical trap is part of how the thing works. Since that
then
would
never mind.
be under its description.
Then
Do we want to touch it?
Crack, can you inspect it?
Do you mean grab it or do you mean...
No, I mean check it for more traps.
I got a 25 on perception.
You were inspecting the rod. Look at it. It's kind of out of your wheelhouse because it's a rod.
Was it a rod or is it like a? Okay.
Well, it's a staff.
Okay.
I should be calling it a staff and not a rod.
The
It's
staff
longer
versus
than a
staff.
rod.
It's a staff.
It's a staff.
Okay.
You have to flip it upside down.
Very wanted to be a stave, yeah. That's totally a stave.
You don't see any hidden compartments or things that would allude to something hurting you if you grabbed it materially.
What do you see?
Nothing.
Then I will
Oh, you say it
tell
like
him
Isaac?
to back up, and I will send another Irina forward to grab it this time.
The arena spares a quick look at you and then goes over. And it gingerly reaches out, kind of touches it, and again, and then
All right, then
only it's not squinting. Or
then
it's
I'll,
kind of squinting.
I'll
and then
clop over and take it in my hands. Do I get lightning bolted?
take it in your hands, and nothing happens. you feel, without any kind of attempts to detect it, a very strong magical aura. But that's about it.
I'd like to identify.
Okay.
Man,
You
if we,
identify
I wonder if we
Secret
had
staff of the Magi, come on.
Well, I also wonder if we had just left this, since it shook the castle to its core, Strahd's probably like, huh. Would probably start inspecting it. And if he saw it, I was like, huh.
I'm looking for the paper that gives general details, and I have found that paper now. I only wrote the broad strokes because there's a lot of stuff on it, but identifying it reveals that the magical signature is well justified, because this is, out of character, what is known as a staff of power. There are a bunch of other specifications, but the broad strokes that I want to tell you right now is that it needs to be attuned by a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard.
You can eat shit. It's
You
mine.
can use it as like a +2. You can use it as a +2 quarterstaff, and it can cast a number of spells
Yes,
for
it
a certain amount of charges. For the folks at home, these spells include Cone of Cold, Fireball,
Lightning
right
bolt.
here, Globe of Invulnerability,
Yeah.
Hold Monster, Levitate, Lightning
Yeah.
Bolt, Magic Missile, Ray of Enfeeblement, and Wall of Force.
Jeez.
They take certain amounts of charges each to do the thing, and it can also be broken for catastrophic effect.
Yes, it can.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought maybe for a minute it would go undiscovered. Because you never know, you know.
Well, all stuff's gonna be broken and do something.
Well, I assume.
No,
the
he's
only-
talking about there's an effect that some staffs have called a retributive strike, where if you
Yeah.
break the staff, it explodes in magical energy, doing a bunch of damage.
Yeah, I know.
It's fucking crazy.
But this is one that does a big like aura of force
I'm
damage,
talking about-
and that's specific to the staff of power and the staff of the Magi.
I think he was talking about David mentioning that he didn't think somebody was going to find it.
No.
No, he was talking about staffs having effect when they're destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm saying. That's that. No, it's that. Then again, I really only know.
Do you mind if I look it up, David?
No. I intended for you to do so. I looked at all the stuff.
It
and I
has
was
a
like,
lot of stuff.
I'm not going to write all this down.
I've seen it before.
You can grab whatever
Okay.
you need to when you need to. I just wanted to for...
Vampires are monsters considered for hold monster, right?
Yes.
I would have to look it up, but I would assume, especially after he said yeah.
Hold monster is hold person, but for anything. Basically, is how it works.
That is in person.
Yeah. Hold person is for humanoids. Hold monster is for literally everything else.
Huh.
So I can paralyze a vampire. I could also paralyze a dragon if one of them shows up.
A lich.
Hardcore.
I think liches are immune to the paralyzed condition.
They might be.
Probably. Then, upon looking at this staff, I will say, this has certainly been fruitful.
He probably knows we're here now, if he didn't before.
Fine. I see your point. Let us continue on to Strahd's tomb. We can get the rest of them. I assume you're suggesting we hurry on with our goal and do not check the rest of these crypts?
If it is shaking the castle.
Then let us do so. Out of character, I'm not greedy. I gotta stop. Unless one of these other tombs has a staff of the Magi, in which case I'm gonna be like, God damn it, Ed, why would you do this to me?
Well, I mean, if you can quickly look at the names and
You
make
brave-
rolls, see if there's anything.
That's fine. We can just skip straight to Strahd's tomb.
You bravely...
I got a gun and a fucking staff of power. I'm fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
how many
no,
have we checked so
that's
far?
tough one to say.
Yeah.
This will be the 15th...
Did you want the gun? Are you gonna take a level
We're
party?
halfway done.
We're halfway done.
I don't want
No, we're not. This is the 15th tomb. I said there are 30, maybe more. The exact count is 40.
Okay, so we're not even halfway.
We can check them later. Let's just go to Strahd's tomb. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to check the rest of them, but if it did shake the whole castle, we should probably. Strahd knows that we're down here, so we should hurry up. Go to Strahd. Well, not exactly hurry up. Let's get to the area of Strahd's tomb.
See
Check it for
if it's
traps.
been moved.
Check it for traps. Then go inside. see if the item is still there. If not, it's probably been moved, but we should still check. We should still head back to the teleportation fire, teleport to the library, just in case only one of them was moved. Because technically the only thing that Grayla knew for certain was the one in Strahd's tomb. So we might have only moved the one in Strahd's tomb.
Yeah.
He might not have moved the one in the library because he assumed we wouldn't figure it out because he thinks we're dumb.
Oh,
Because Grayla didn't know, and none of us could figure it out either.
Yeah, until we got here. So he might have only moved that one, so let's check that one, and whether it's there or not, we should double back to the fire, head to the library, and then from the library we can head to the south part of the castle. And then once we have that, we'll find Irina. And then get out of here.
Sounds like a plan.
Although once we get out of this catacombs, I would like to hole up somewhere and take a short rest.
I can't imagine why.
Yes, crazy why I want a short rest.
We could go to the tomb that had the portcullis that I jammed open, unjam it, close
He knows
it.
we're down here. We should just move to a different location. I think once we teleport to the library, we should hold up in the library.
They can teleport too.
I'll have guard ready.
The group moves through the catacombs. They come to a hallway that cuts through said catacombs, at the end of which is a spiral staircase that Sasha recognizes as a spiral staircase that his eye came down. But for everybody else, it's a staircase. And there's also like a fairly large tomb like Sergei's that you also pass by, that is at the other end of this hallway, as you were being led to where your friend knows Strahd's tomb is. We're coming with enragement. Sasha detects that the entrance to the tomb is surrounded by three magical points that he recognizes as teleportation traps.
Okay. I will turn to us and I'll say teleportation traps right at the entrance. Crack, if you can pry up the, or Ahri, whichever, if you can pry up the ground, I can disable.
These are different.
Oh.
You sense that like the floor tiles themselves have been enchanted.
Oh.
They need to be fought magically.
Could we potentially put something...
Can I roll Arcana to determine if Dispel Magic would work?
I'm going to say that you don't need to because you think maybe Dispel Magic, and that makes sense to you.
Try putting like a crate over it and have somebody step over the crate? Because if these things are triggered,
Wouldn't it teleport the crate?
then it would deactivate the thing, right?
Do I know if the aura will work on things above it? So, like, in theory, could the tiles be jumped over?
Go ahead and roll Arcana, because sometimes maybe, sometimes maybe.
No.
17 on Arcana. I can't do. Do you know Dispel Magic? Because I don't have it.
I don't.
He has a much better chance of learning Dispel Magic since he can actually copy some of the spell book. I only get the limited number of spells I know.
Searching your knowledge, you know that this type in particular, it does teleport things that aren't touching it. It's just if you enter the space, you teleport.
Do I know if there's any way of disabling it without casting the spell?
Outside of Dispel Magic, no, you don't think so.
Can I have someone step on one of the circles and then counterspell it right when it activates? Do I think that would work?
Huh. It takes a reaction. Huh.
I'm going to say that would work, like, for that one.
It wouldn't. The trap would immediately reset.
I'm more going to assume that since it's supposed to be a continuous effect, you would technically be counterspelling the thing that happens to the person that's crossing and not to the thing.
So they wouldn't be able to get back out unless I cast it again.
Unless you cast it again.
Okay.
So we also know with the check that these are the type that if they're activated, they're going to stay activated. They're not just a one-off.
No, they're continuously active.
They're
So-
continuously active. You know that dispel magic can
Earlier when I
suppress them
said,
for a little bit.
well, I don't have dispel magic.
I'm saying these are even earlier. It doesn't get rid of it. It like suppress it for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I have a plan.
Could we potentially pry up the stone? If the stone
That's the
themselves
first
are
thing. That was the first thing I asked.
No.
any tools to touch the stone would be teleported.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna check real
Okay.
quick because if the Staff of Power has dispel magic, then we could
Oh.
I could attune that, and then we could do it that way. Or, if that isn't the case, when I sent Sahar through all the fires, one of them put them inside Strahd's tomb, right? Did it put them in past where the teleportation traps are?
Yeah.
Okay, then what we could do is if the Staff of Power doesn't have dispel magic, one person, I'm thinking Crack, since he has these tools, we can send him through the teleporter, grab the item, or if the item's not there, then whatever. And then when he walks out of the tomb, I counterspell the teleport effect.
We could also
Because I have 1/3 level spell slot for counterspell, unless you have counterspell.
I got 5.
we could also figure out where these teleportation circles will teleport us, because if they'll just teleport us back to the dungeon, then what we could do is anticipate that. Go back to the fire, teleport into Strahd's tomb, and then we leave, and if we're being chased, just hop in the teleportation circles, get thrown back into the jails, and we can just
If
open
Strahd
doors.
knows we got into his thing, he'll set something up as far as in the dungeon on the assumption that the teleportation trap will teleport us there. We'll be ambushed when we get there.
If they go to
He
the...
has 20 intelligence.
It doesn't
Siguror.
have dispel magic.
It's a possibility, assuming that Strahd was not confident that you wouldn't be able to overcome the trap in the first place.
Yeah, because it might not teleport us here, it could teleport us across the world.
He's smart, but he's also arrogant, and who knows where these things go.
I do
Okay.
feel like if we figure out
How
where these
about-
things go, we could lead to helpful for a plan.
Can I tell with, if I cast Identify on the trap, because Identify can identify active magical effects, can I determine what spell is triggering? Because if the teleportation effect counts as 5th level or lower, then the Globe of Invulnerability that I can cast from the staff will negate the teleportation effect. So I could go in there, grab the treasure, and come out as well. But that would require me to attune the staff. But in theory, that's an option as well.
Globe is single person.
Globe
Yeah.
is self.
Oh.
I can't pass it on anyone else. It's just me.
Okay.
It creates an orb of blocking all spells 5th level or lower.
You think they would call it like shield and invulnerability then?
It's always been called Globe of Invulnerability because it creates like a spherical orb around you that like shimmers and pulses. It looks like a force field, but it's a force field that blocks spells.
I'm
It's like
seeing
a
if there's
shimmering
any.
globe.
Is it concentration?
I'm seeing if there's anything
Yeah.
that would lead me to believe that
Could you
can't
figure out
do
where
that.
these circles...
Well, it'd be like the best defensive spell if it wasn't concentration.
Oh,
You know, just
God.
negate magic.
I was mainly
And
wondering
then-
if you could fly around in a globe, because
That would be
badass.
so dope.
Could it activate globe, activate mirror image for anything that does get through?
So, the trap
I can still
Is-
do that mirror
The
images.
trap is a little weird in that a spell's being cast, kind of, sort of.
Right.
However, having inspected and yes,
So, is this teleportation trap, is it like runes inscribed on the ground or something, or chiseled into the ground?
no.
It's
The
not?
stone itself
It's
was
like an
enchanted, so
invisible magic force.
unless you're
Okay.
detecting magic, you wouldn't even know it's there.
Okay.
Which a while ago, when you said you were going to be doing that, I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I guess not cool. You don't run into the trap, but
Does
cool.
anybody-
Well, after fucking he disappeared in front of me, I was like,
Does
I don't like this.
potentially have mold earth?
Mold
probably
earth
won't
won't
work.
work on solid stone.
Oh.
We
Damn.
Creative. They beat you to it.
Why would
Now,
you
If I had
the
stone
traps
shape,
and
but
move them
stone
somewhere
shape would
else?
require
What?
like maybe level 11.
what you know about this trap and how it works, you're under the impression that if this thing can be neutralized by something like Dispel Magic, using the globe of invulnerability to surpass it should work.
Okay, so I could go in with the Globe of Invulnerability and come out. Additionally, I also have one more thing to ask. David, when I sent my eye into the room, is there any other exits from his tomb that I saw other than the obvious one, the entrance? Like, was there like a stair?
No.
Okay, well
If
then...
we blast the stone with, like, say, a cantrip or something, and the stone takes damage, if we destroy the stone, does it cease to have its trap effect?
It might, but destroying the stone would mean destroying, like, it to its core. It's not just on, like, the surface of the stone.
Right.
Okay.
It's down in there.
Could you send Sahar through and figure out where these go?
I'm worried it'll go to where Strahd is. But... I can
And
try.
Strahd kills Siguror if he sees them, probably. You imagine he wouldn't. I don't know how many random owls end up in his castle.
Well, could send him through and then prepare an action to dismiss him if you see Strahd. Or a threat.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll send Sahar through,
Okay.
taking over his senses, and then I'll dismiss him after a single turn on the other side. I'm not going to give him 30 seconds like last time. So just a quick look around, and then he's gone.
Does this look familiar?
Let me see.
And from these traps, is there only the tombs that we came from and that larger tomb that we passed that looked like Sergei's? Or as big as Sergei's? Sorry.
Down here, from what you've seen, there's Sergei's tomb, there's another larger tomb, there's Strahd's, which is here outside right now, and there was also a hallway that had this big tomb you hadn't explored, and then at the other end, there's a staircase that goes up
Okay.
that you know is the one that has the wall in it.
Just trying to plot like an escape if we have to move immediately.
Yeah, what's on the other
You
side?
send Sahar through. There is a flash of light, and then Sahar finds himself engulfed in darkness. There's a musty odor that reaches its nostrils, and a little bit of flying reveals that it's in a confined space.
It has dark vision, unless it's magical darkness.
I forgot that instead it appears to be in some kind of stone box.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely something you don't want to trigger, and I'll teleport him back.
Oh,
Or not teleport, but
my
dismiss.
apologies. Two things happen. You see that. The rest of you see a horrible, ghastly undead materialize in the space where, like, Sahar flew over that prepares to attack.
It's swapped
Thanks,
places?
So initiative?
Yes.
Awesome. 5. This is exactly why I didn't want to do this, Ed. This is exactly
You
why.
did not possibly know that it's a teleportation circle with a swap mechanic.
I said something bad could happen.
Yes.
Like Strahd could find him.
This
This is
is
something
not
bad.
He didn't know, but he also didn't want to do it.
Well, you didn't have to say yes. It was just like, good.
Yeah, blame me for fucking
The record-
going along with what other people want to do.
It's true.
You're right, I should just be like, no, we're only doing what I want to do now. Mistakes were made.
Oh, wait, I just thought of something.
There are some pillars that you are
Keep Sahar there.
between.
If you go first, you can just Eldritch blast this thing back into the teleportation circle, and they might swap places again. If that's how
maybe.
it works.
But I rolled an 8 on
There's only one way to
so
find
that's
out.
not a great plan. Because all it needs to do is not move in a straight line on his turn, and that plan will be foiled.
From while holding it.
Yeah. Wait, up or down?
Down from while holding it.
Oh,
Holding it.
okay. I see. Yeah, cool.
Now, I have guessed how you were standing. This is the moment where I would like corrections if you were not standing as such. These are like, the catacombs have like a lot of
I don't know
pillars
why
with
Mario
doors
would
in
ever
them,
be
and
in
that's what
front.
these are.
Never in the history of my life.
Well, since you were inspecting it, I thought maybe you would be up there.
Except
Well, I
that
guess that's-
one time.
But I
when
would have
ran
backed
was-
up when I sent Sahar through.
Yeah,
Because
I am willing to accept.
Because Sasha is a lot smarter,
that this time.
much smarter than I am.
I am willing to believe this.
I would hope so. Sasha has an int of 20. I have an int of not 20.
So, I heard that someone got an 8. Was that Ahri?
No, sorry.
Okay.
Question: when his bird flew, how high was it?
It was real high.
How high was it?
It had smoked a lot before it went through that portal.
That's, yeah, totally. It was, well, I already know that it goes up as high, or it doesn't matter how high you go, but just to double check it, it would have been like 20 feet up. Just to be sure, yeah,
And
it
it
happens.
It was about that high.
Oh, it's so annoying. All the way to the ceiling for a dick.
That's
16.
a dick move.
17, sorry.
Damn it.
It's not really a dick move. It's more so being.
What does
clever.
Sasha get?
5.
Still dick move.
And what about Crack?
21.
And what about your stalwart ally?
Oh, you're right.
Argyle?
Yes.
He's our Star Wars ghoul manservant.
Yeah, true. You'd be a better ally than Izzy.
I'm pretty sure he was a ghoul monk. That's kind of
Has-
unfair.
Hasn't Izek been there for you all those times except the times where he was your enemy?
Well, he was there for all those times to stalk Irina.
He was. And he's participated in how many fights with us? Like 2, right?
Yeah, but he's done stuff during them.
Yeah. Every fight where he got a turn, he's
Yeah.
participated. All the other ones we kind of just.
So,
That's true. Opposed to Ismark, who misses
That's what we
literally
have no idea what the
everything.
hell we're gonna do if we do manage to get out. What the hell we're gonna do with them? If we are gonna kill him, or if we're gonna do something.
if he attacks Irina, we're gonna kill him. But if he's chilled or whatever, then maybe we can figure out why he's after Irina, other than
Yeah.
just
Yeah, we
wedding
could try
and rape,
worse.
like
Because
the worst.
we could try worse this time.
I'm
the thing we didn't
wondering
do last
if
time.
it has to do with like the arm, and the arm is causing the fascination and the visions of Irina.
It is Crack's turn first.
Oh, cool.
You are faced with a ghastly humanoid figure of white skin, wreathed in black
Let's roll
scraps.
religion, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a zombie or something
16.
else.
The scraps hang loosely over ancient leather armor and is equipped with sword and bow. You consult your knowledge and given it has material things and it's not like floating and some other signs. You believe this is white. It's just one, isn't it?
That doesn't count.
Unless it grabs people by the face and starts draining their max hit points.
Unless.
I crit, so 18 damage. And
You added your total plus 9, right?
Plus 2 from undead.
Yeah, you got all
That's why it's 18.
Do tell.
that. Nice.
Was this a blast or a stab?
Stab.
You stab.
Another stab.
And you do decently, though you do feel some resistance.
I got 19.
Wait, why don't you use that short sword? That was magic, wasn't
It's not attuned
it?
yet.
Oh,
Which is part of the reason I want to take a short rest, so
Yeah.
we can attune the short sword of
Because you're a
Crusader's Mantle.
Templar right now.
I'm a Templar right now in case we need Crusader's Mantle, but I'm absolutely willing to give it to him. That way it'll be a +1 weapon. I also still think, even though, yes, he can technically use the Bone of Disruption, you should use it because he has other weapons he could use during Strahd. That thing is going to be better than the Bone Spear is during Strahd. Just use the Bone Spear at all the times and then whip out the mace.
Oh, the blood spear.
And against Strahd.
Against Strahd.
And then,
This is another
Right?
spear attack.
So you're just going to be doing more damage on
And
all
then
your
the key
attacks.
True.
It's a one battle.
And he needs the +1 short swords that he is
When it
magic.
counts.
And if I am able to do the multi
I guess
thing
so.
anyway, I was thinking about doing dual wielding.
That is miss.
Double magic. Maybe.
There's your 30 attack.
yeah, well, I key last, and since I'm not been close, that counts as my advantage, so.
Okay. Crack thrusts into the creature twice, feeling that its unearthly body is only so affected by non-magical means of attack. Nevertheless, you do harm him. It does hurt. Its wavy, white, threadbare hair drifts softly as it almost glides into its attack, which it will be taking now.
He's
Fifth.
He's fifth.
Alright.
So his face don't even count as being cast magic resistant.
I will take retribution, and you shall know fear of Ibak Tsum.
Who the fuck are you? Or who are
No, it's attacking with disadvantage because of the icon of Ravenloft.
You are right. I had thought about making a reminder to myself the other day, and then I didn't. It's like, nah, it's fine.
Like we joked about early on in the campaign, all the good shit is in this castle and nowhere else.
See,
Can I get a reminder of what you're seeing?
pretty much literally
18.
everything.
You said Strahd's just finding it, hoarding and all.
It attempts clenching its nailed hand, attempts to draw at your very life force, but is unable to do so.
saying for now, very good.
It hisses in displeasure, but its turn is past. It then becomes Siguror's turn.
Yeah, but they can't knock him up. Okay, anticipating there being talk of being arrested, yeah, it's probably a smart idea. Activate rage and go after this thing with with the blood spear.
That blood spear.
What kind of damage does it do?
Piercing, magical.
Piercing.
Yeah, it's magic, so it should the resistance is just
Or a lot of that take reduced damage from non-magical attacks.
17 to hit.
the overwhelming majority of them actually.
That's a hit.
Oh, excellent. That is
He's got some armor on him, but it's leather, it's kind of decayed.
Yeah.
15 magical. And yeah, it's surrounded. I mean, he already has disadvantage, but now it also reduced the damage.
As you pierce his undead flesh and bone, your ancestors rise around him in a circle. He is surrounded. It then...
Second attack.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
I jumped the gun.
that's a 12.
A 12 does not hit. The coolness of the first one overshadows the whiff of the second, and then, by my count, it becomes...
Are you starting?
becomes Ezek's turn, but
He's never
You can throw fire.
oh,
He has that
that's
range
true.
attack.
Oh,
He can't throw
yeah.
fire.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
he
I
has
keep
a fireball
forgetting he can
attack.
throw
He
fire.
adjusts, and then
He's like an Afridi. He has a ranged flame attack.
I mean, this thing is just also undead. Fire would be a bit more effective than his axe, which wasn't magical.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing. The only magical things in the entirety of Curse of Strahd are all here.
That one guy in rain.
The one guy's ring and the druid grove.
I bet he got it here. I bet the Kolthai staff came from here too, fucking somehow. Strahd was like, yes, take from my endless hoard of my, as place is the only place with magic items in this entire fucking land.
Easy throws some flame. Unfortunately, he misjudges and it like scatters across like one of the pillars.
Ah.
It is
Does
then
he use as
Ahri's
his casting stat that he always misses with
His arm.
his casting stat? I'm saying like, does he use charisma and he's just an unlikable prick? He's like, I got a negative charisma score. Let's do this.
We'll have to see someday.
Eldritch Blast is what I'm doing.
For some monsters, it's based off their con score. So,
Uh,
I don't know how to
So
say that.
17 to hit for one and 24 to hit for the other.
Those are both hits.
Then that's 11 and 9 damage. So 20 damage total. And he gets pushed 20 feet back.
No!
Yeah, no one else is going to be able to hit him now, except for us.
Oh god, that means we also can't even hit him with... They can't hit us either.
No, I don't think it'll teleport.
Perhaps
Check.
by luck, you blast, sending the thing staggering back, and then you blast again as it like runs into the portcullis that is Strahd's lair and is disintegrated.
Okay.
By the blast or
By the
the
blast.
portcullis? Okay.
So, is that square still magical after the thing is teleported in here?
Yes.
Motherfucker.
Also, now you have more than enough time to like call Ahri back if you desire, or
Sahar.
call Sahar back.
Wait, so did
Alright,
you say
get over
the
here.
portcullis is down on his room? Like the door is down, blocking our way in?
Yes,
Probably just want people walking in.
I probably should have said that as well as the teleportation thing.
So you'll have to
focus
cast
on
global invulnerability and then lift a fucking portcullis.
So, okay.
Wait,
My bad.
The only thing I can do is give you guidance.
Actually, you know
Is
what?
the portcullis?
That's an assumption. I'm gonna check actually because it might not be down.
When is
That'll make a cool scene.
Okay.
So I'll double check.
So I was wondering if it was down when his eye came down here.
Well, the eye, it wouldn't have
Okay.
mattered for the eye because the eye could fit through space
Yeah.
1 inch small.
It is.
See if it was open.
It is down.
Does it look, when I was inside the room, was there a mechanism, like a lever, like in...
Yeah.
Okay, so, and does the teleport bring you inside the portcullis?
The brazier, yes.
Okay, so,
It
I
brings
will
you to
say-
the bottom of the steps.
Crack, you return to the fire. Which color gem was it that leads there?
The inscription tells him what it is. So that it's in common, you can read it.
Yellow.
Okay. I won't flip through the
Take
pages.
the yellow gem, put it in the fire, and then step inside. Once inside, and there wasn't anything in the room when I checked, right?
Outside of the coffin, yeah.
Okay. Open the coffin. Find the. Actually, what you want to do first is when you're inside, open the portcullis. Then open the tomb. Whatever treasure is in there, obtain. Come out. I will neutralize the teleportation trap upon you, and then we will leave. So it must be done quickly, and if anything goes wrong, just run.
Will you be able to open?
Make sure you check the
the
traps
coffin?
on his coffin. I'm sure it's not undefended.
Is it a coffin?
Go with him back
Is
to
it
the
a
fire
coffin
just
or
in
is it
case.
Stone sarcophagus.
It's a coffin.
Oh, okay.
I'll say in character if I die, I'm haunting you.
I understand.
You know, if you haunt him, he'll just try and kill your apparition, correct?
I'll haunt him for a little bit.
It's cheeky dialogue. Don't worry about it.
I said my thing in character, to be honest. I said,
No, I do not. I
You know
know.
he'll kill your apparition, right, correct?
That's why you should use voices, then people will tell when you're talking about it.
Well, I used his character's name. I wasn't like, he'll kill your apparition, Jeff, don't do it.
Crack walks back to the room with the hourglass.
I'm
Here
with
in
him.
the stones. Oh.
Wait, you stopping?
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, you can't go.
I'll give myself guidance. I assume he's probably better at it than I am.
And
Oh my god.
where are the two of you waiting? Are the two of you waiting like near
Near the portcullis.
Look to see if we can easily see a name on the tomb that's right across from here. So if it's right there, just
the... It's not. Like you pass like through a hallway that had it at the end, and then you go through more
Oh.
catacomb, and then you're here.
okay. Yeah, no, just
14.
retake stock of gear and stuff.
Okay.
Let's get ready.
14.
9.
I'm gonna spend some more time looking at my gun. Just trying to like figure out how the hell this works and be like, oh, I think you pour it, then I don't know. This contraption is some sort of sorcery I've never seen. And yet my identification is supposed to do nothing.
Maybe those two bags are components. It must be combined with its components before it becomes magical.
There's no obvious way for it to do so.
Easy. Grunts.
Like just general or like in agreement?
You know, you think in agreement maybe, because like it's kind of timed, and he like nods a little bit, but it's really subtle. Meanwhile, Ahri and Crack like go down the passage, and you get to the preserve room, and you happen to catch like the foot of something crawling like on the ceiling, but out towards like the room with water. You missed encountering another vampire by that much. Or vampire spawn, rather. You could have taken them, I'm sure. But you don't have to.
Can I get an avatar real fast?
Get
Don't get my-
to the place you take the stone in hand, and like you saw Sasha do before, you can cast it in the fire. Flame turns yellow. You jump in and find.
Dude, does it stay yellow long? Oh wait, no, I forgot. I'll stay here until he goes through.
I was gonna say you can, but then you're getting teleported into some sort of weird zombie box.
Yeah.
Because I can't counterspell for both of you. I have 1/3 level spell slot
I
left.
understand.
I'm tempted.
I mean, unless you want to like start, you step into it and then I'll step into it, just swap spots and try to
Hey,
muscle my way out.
Sorry.
I didn't hear. You're tempted to.
make some ridiculous noise when I'm jumping.
You're gonna make a bird noise.
Well, you can if you want.
And jumps in.
But crack. Silence of Siguror taking stock of his gear and Sasha figuring out details about his gun and Isaac standing stoically are interrupted by a sudden bird squawk, but like maybe a little huskier, from inside the tomb as you find yourself whisked into a tomb. A tomb that has black marble steps that go up 30 feet towards the portcullis that you saw before. You can smell freshly turned earth in here, and you can see that some of it is also settled on the floor. There is a black, finely waxed coffin with bright brass detailing that dominates the room. You also see on one of the walls near the stairs a lever.
I'm gonna check for traps.
Very well.
I'm gonna head back to the rest of the group.
I got 16.
You move around the room.
You can actually just hide there because we're going to be coming your way once we have the thing.
Oh, okay, never mind, I'll just hide.
You inspect the room. You find no traps. You do find that there's a portion of the room that there's a lot of earth on the floor, so it wouldn't be super noticeable unless you were like going around, which you did.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a portion of the place that is not stone, but just earth. It's tightly packed. You can still walk on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fun little feature.
Since I
Oh.
checked the whole room.
The whole reason why you're in here. I almost skipped like the reason why you're in here. You find that fun fact, but you also find, in particular, inside the coffin, because there comes a point where that's the only place you haven't like checked inside. Where you gotta touch it. You gotta open it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you open it,
God.
you find a book. There's a book sitting in the center. It's thick. It's got a wooden cover with like iron bands on it. And when like you pick it up without opening it, the pages inside look a little worn, very worn.
You look like you keep a diary.
As you
Dear
inspect it,
diary, I enslaved the people of Barovia today.
there is a chorus of low hisses that come from the back of the room. You can see quite plainly 3 beautiful women. Though they are
You
covered
need to
in
run.
dirt.
you need to fucking
Open the
run.
goddamn door.
You'll get your chance to run after the script, because the scene happens that rise from the rear. One is short, and the other is tall, and another is midway. They are
Never mind,
wearing
you should come back.
differently detailed dresses, and also dirt encrusted jewelry and finery upon them. One of them has this silver ivory mask that like comes down over part of her face. And the gowned women not only hiss, but start to advance as you like hold the book and like start to rush. Though they will give chase. And then I will want initiative from you.
I'm sorry.
This is not good at all.
19?
So David, is it fine if I retake my I'm coming back? Is that a problem?
Only if you wouldn't have decided to do that before.
I
I'm
only
willing-
said I was not coming back because he was like, we're coming there anyways. So
What would the plan have been normally is really the question. If the plan normally would have been for you to come back,
I thought I
then
was just
go for
escorting
it.
him there and being back up with him, but
That's true. I did technically say, oh, you should just stay there. That wasn't originally discussed as part of the plan.
Okay.
His original interpretation was to come back. I have no spell slots, you guys.
Hey. He just needs to get past that circle and we'll be fine.
They're gonna follow.
Past the circle.
vampires, they're very
It
fast.
might be not set for them.
You
In
can
fact, I'm willing to bet that
Yeah.
it won't teleport them.
almost positive it would teleport them. And in fact, for it to teleport them, I feel like we would have had to
Sorry, what'd you
sabotage
say,
the trap
guys?
somehow too.
19.
So
Fuck.
The teleportation circles within the teleportation circles.
Really wish I was attuned to that staff of power. That would be so fucking useful. If I die before
You have the
tuning-
mantle though. You could activate the mantle.
Yes, I am going to. As soon as he gets out of there.
And we see fucking 3 vampire women chasing him.
Oh my god.
And also, since it's right here,
is that a picture of them?
yes, and some dude that you haven't met.
Ah.
Huh.
I'll try to ignore the
Does he have a man consort? That's
Well,
surprisingly woke, bro. Okay?
a little bit.
I don't mean that like insultingly. I mean that.
Huh.
Huh. Okay.
I remember reading through really briefly and being like, sick, he does have vampire lives.
The heads are gonna look real good hanging from my belt.
I forgot you've been carrying around a head this whole time.
One human head. And
Get to Strahd, do Hamlet. Or not to be. I'm sure he'd get real fucking mad real fast.
You know, if we kill his 3 brides and then escape with Irina, I'm
Oh.
pretty sure he's just gonna hunt us down.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
fuck.
Actually, our
No, he's like,
our role in the game might be over at that point.
You'll be in the middle. Hose back.
Pretty sure we won't be able to do any other side stuff because it'll be like, let's go do, hey, what's going on, guys? Everywhere we go, it'll just be Strahd.
I had the paper.
Trying to use the bathroom. Strahd shows up. Trying to sleep. Strahd shows up. I don't know.
no, it would be just like Frodo and them being hounded by the ring wraiths. We just have to keep running. And not really stopping.
Forever. He has a teleportation circle all over the goddamn country. The only reason he wouldn't be
See, this is when we test the thing of
and he has
take
a
all of the
flying
gems,
nightmare.
throw them all into the fire, and see what happens.
He also has a flying nightmare. So
We get attacked by 2 iron golems who could easily kill us.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. So, what is your dexterity modifier? Because there's a tie between one of the enemies and Crag. There's no longer a tie. Crag will go first. He is narrowly followed.
Yes! Fuck out of there.
Thank you, 20!
Can he reach the lever and reach that in one move?
I told him to do the lever first.
He did it already. He did the lever.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, he didn't say.
I thought you were
which one.
searching the room first.
No.
Unless
he
he
searched
specifically-
the first thing he did was search for tribes, then he did the lever, and then he went to the coffin.
Now, I will put out there, you have a lot of movement. The steps are like 30 feet, and the tomb's not that big. So if you didn't hit the lever, it'd probably be like another 5 feet to actually do that. So in this instance, you may be fast enough to say that you could have either rolled it, but I didn't hear you did the lever first. You were instructed to. If you meant to, then we'll believe you.
Yeah, well, I was going to, I think I was going to do a lever and then get the thing was my intention. That's what I thought.
Then I will believe you.
If you want, you don't have to do it though, since I didn't say it. It's okay.
Nah. Despite some of my other features, I'm pretty generous about this kind of stuff. Just why not? It's gonna take 30 feet to get you out of the tomb and to go to
Well, you don't even need to run. That's not even your full movement.
Yeah.
I think he does level 4.
Oh, okay.
Crack rushes up steps out of the tomb.
As he passes over the thing, I will counterspell the teleportation. Because it takes a reaction, so.
I'll say when I'm running out. Right! Or, I guess, I assume.
And as he is running, you can hear a couple hisses, and you see, like all three of you see, one dark-skinned female with like this golden headpiece and this nice, if dirt-encrusted gown, like gliding up the steps practically.
Do you want us to roll initiative? Or... How do you want it? Do you want to just put us in the initiative? Or...
I think what I'm going to do is say that you effectively prepared an action to do the dispel, so he won't have to wait until it's your turn to actually get over, which
Well,
is what I was actually
it's not a prepared, it's actually a reaction, so I don't need to prepare an action. As long as I haven't taken a reaction, I can do it.
Doesn't even matter. And what's more, this goes perhaps better than you would have thought, because after that happens and you do that, the woman like chasing Crack stops before the circle and like leans but is careful to not get into it and like hisses angrily after it and then like looks at the rest of you.
I'll flip her the bird.
Pretty sure we just flipped her the bird collectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say to her, "Oh, what? Right here. Is there some sort of problem?"
There are two other women who like also ascend the stairs, but like stop when they see the one. They spare glares and hisses, though perhaps less enthusiastically.
Well, I mean, they're stopping. You just turn our backs on them and just walk away.
They themselves like start to turn back towards the tomb and leave.
We should maybe hurry.
Yeah.
Just in case there's some other accident.
A little bit more.
What did you find, Craig?
This. I hold up the book.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Let's check magic for
I'm still on my horse. I will have Sahar, and I'll take over Sahar's senses. What does the book say? And I should know we're heading back to the teleportation room as we do.
I don't know if Stack Magic picks up anything in case that's trapped with like exploding rooms or something.
Too late, but it turns out to not be trapped. Could I get a roll from you though?
What kind of roll?
A perception.
Can
Actually-
Sahar also roll it? Because
Actually, you're reading through it. Investigation might be better for this. I realize.
That's so much better, actually.
You're reading a book.
15.
So as you're traveling, you begin reading through the book, and the book appears to be a journal of sorts, chronicling all of Strahd's greatest successes.
A journal or a diary?
Why don't you ask it yourself?
Well,
As Sasha reads through it, however, he begins to notice that yes, it's a list of like all his accomplishments, but like specifically his accomplishments, and they're written almost as if he is speaking directly to someone with the intent of perhaps impressing or even intimidating them. It is not, today I drove the barbarians from their horde and decimated their remaining forces. It is, today I outmatched the barbarians as if I were but 5 men to their meager half. It was all too simple
So
to drive them
super
from their place.
Boastful.
It's boastful in a way that strikes you as odd a journal would be. Because usually that's personal. This is almost as if it's written to someone.
so maybe this could have also been like transcribed, like he was in a room speaking and somebody was.
I don't think
writing
so.
it
I
down
think
for
he
him.
intended to give this to someone. That's strange. I don't think it might be fake, do I?
Well,
I feel like insight would be.
once it crosses your mind, I don't know. Do you want to make an insight?
Madam Ostrich can never be wrong.
Or do you want to assume?
Right.
You're moving through
Can I
castles
maybe
alone.
roll insight to determine?
Secret message amongst it?
Hold on. Fucking. So my investigation determined basically that it was written in a weird way.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it was written in a strange way.
Awfully boastful for someone's journal. But then again, perhaps that's who Strahd is.
Yeah, I mean, what sort of information is in it? Like, if I scan it, does it just have his accomplishments? Does it have... Okay, so you mentioned that it talked about him defeating barbarian hordes. So this was written before he died.
Yes. Some of
If
the
I
accomplishments
skip
are before.
farther ahead in, does it talk about how he turned into a vampire?
You know, like, as you guys are reaching the brazier room,
What
you're
direction
like
are we
flipping
going, by the
through,
way?
and it does not. Him becoming a vampire and whatever happened with his brother, in fact, any mention of his brother outside of the very, very slightest is completely absent from this book.
Because it's not an accomplishment, right?
Or maybe it was purposeful.
Can I roll insight on Strahd? I know this is going to sound weird for a second, or maybe an intelligence check. Honestly, I prefer it be an intelligence check to determine that maybe, because I have a sneaking suspicion that this is a fake version of the book that he put here, and what the vampire was talking about earlier was that he moved the real book somewhere else, and this is a decoy. Because if
I said insight before, but intelligence sounds like it would fit better, so I
Is the
didn't
library
think of
in the southwest side? Oh.
that. But right now,
intelligence check 19.
right now you're in the preserve room.
If that's not high enough, I do have a
You're
lot.
preparing to go to the study, yeah?
The library?
Whichever had the picture. I think it might have been a study,
Library.
actually.
Right.
It is.
Oh, it's a study? Okay, never mind. It's a study.
But yeah,
Oh.
there's a bunch of books there. So
Oh.
you fish for the stone. You like throw the stone. I'll say you throw the stone. As you are looking
I got a 19. If that's not high enough, I do have a 1.
intently at it,
The room doesn't look
and you are trying to determine.
If this is maybe a decoy of the book, written, maybe, how fresh is the ink? Does it look like it was written over multiple days? Or does it look like it was all written at once? Well, maybe not at once, but like, if it was chronicling his, like, time, there would be differences in the pages that I could tell. If this was a recreated fake,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Is it just
I
hundreds
do.
of years old? Like
Can-
a vampire's
Can
journal
you
might be
also
before he
tell
turned into a
if this is
vampire?
aged naturally or with magic? Is there like
No, I
any way
wouldn't
for
be
you
able to tell that.
Okay. I don't know if there's any like telltale
It's
sign
funny
of that.
you say that because that is technically what happens. You throw the stone and you are able to teleport and find yourself in the study, which I'm going to describe in but a moment. But once you arrive in the study, you actually like looking over it, looking closely, you notice something now that you're specifically looking for it. You remember there was a time when your master was preparing these scrolls, and he was doing something to it with tea, essentially. Like he was staining it deliberately,
To
and
make
he
it look
was
older
like,
than it was.
why? And he explained that there are some people who would only be interested in the oldest of magics, not realizing that doesn't translate to the paper. It doesn't matter. It's a spell scroll, but it is some unsufferable thing that one must do sometimes, and after that you're able to like trace over and you find that despite, if this is as old as it's supposed to be, the spine is in awfully good condition.
Right.
Like some of the metal binding is like maybe a little loose.
Then once we arrive, I will say, this book is a fake. That is what the vampire referred to. I assume the real one is in the south part of the tower, the southern part of the castle.
Do we know if the library is in the south part?
It's
Or
not
the
a
study,
library, it's
sorry.
the study.
I'm sorry.
And no, how would we know that? We haven't been there. We're just teleporting here.
I don't know if the vampire mentioned it or not. Like if I missed that detail.
You haven't actually found the
I
place
don't believe the
yourself, or-
vampire specified. Cool, I've got it. And then I've got the room. While Sahar already saw it before, the rest of you now see that a blazing hearth fire fills this room with rolling waves of red and amber light. Walls are lined with ancient books and tomes. Your purpose for coming here. Well, at least the identifier. Their leather covers appear well oiled and preserved, as if through careful use. All is in order here. The stone floor is concealed beneath a thick, luxurious rug. There's like a little bit that's like up that you can like straighten back and make it look good. In the center of the room, there's a large, low table, waxed and polished to a mirror finish. Even the poker in its stand next to the blazing fireplace is polished. There's a large, overstuffed divans and couches that are arranged around the room, and 2 chairs of burgundy-colored wood with padded leather seats and back cushions that face the hearth. There's a huge painting that hangs over the mantelpiece in a heavily gilded frame, and as described to you, it depicts a likeness that matches Irina to a T, though this woman is in purple finery, like a purple gown of a noble dress.
Is there a name plaque or anything underneath the picture, or a date?
There appears to be no name plaque or date, but it's very nice, and this painting appears not to have been moved in quite some time, so it's likely very old.
Okay.
Well, let's check out. What exactly did it describe the treasure as being like?
Does anybody know art? Does anybody have any reason to know art?
No.
I know history. I don't know art. I don't have proficiency in
Tales and
art.
stuff like that.
If for some reason one of you did, I was going to say that could potentially be a way to figure out how old the painting is.
I'm gonna check
The
the
brushstrokes.
traps.
No.
Okay.
No, what exactly was the way the treasure was described? It was under a woman or something?
In the fire that a
I
woman
don't
hangs
know.
over.
Something. I believe I have a non-spoiler edition of the clues, and here it is. You can look at it, but one of the hints was a woman hangs above a roaring fire. Find her, and you will find the treasure.
Okay, so it didn't give any specifics.
If you
Then
want-
let's just roll perception and look around.
So it could just be in the room.
I want to. Is it possible to look behind the painting, like maybe as a safe or something back there?
It is quite possible.
I want to do that when I see
I got 6 on
as well.
Okay.
it, so I see no traps.
I thought I got 16, but
No.
6. Alright.
20.
Okay, you got 20.
26.
Okay.
I got the lowest I can ever get, David.
Well, hey, it happens sometimes.
Look for a fortress inside a fortress in a place hidden behind fire.
Okay. So, I'm going to start with the most important, arguably. In that, when Ahri thinks perhaps there's something behind the painting, Ahri approaches the painting and starts to move the painting only to see that there's a small depression in the mantelpiece that you'd miss unless you were within range of it. And setting inside it is a silver jeweled amulet. It's got a red stone in its center. It's got a chain that it's attached to, and the silver part of the amulet itself is styled similar to that of the sun. When Ahri looks upon it, he feels something stir inside him. A kind of knowledge. There's no way that you can know how you know this, but you know that this is what you were here for.
Is it a holy symbol?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Now,
Great.
other people looking around the room. Crack does his best, but for whatever reason, doesn't really find anything. You notice a number of things. The stuff in here is really nice. You notice that there's no dust or anything. It's really well kept, whatever that may imply. There are tons of books, and I mean tons of books. You even spot a couple of volumes that are written in the language of your homeland, which kind of stick out to you.
That's
Some collections of tales or poems.
Huh.
You were looking around. The books kind of dominate your view. They're all very nice, and you actually recognize some. You are not a book trader, but you are aware that there are some special hit books
Yeah.
that take money, and almost every special hit that you've ever heard of is here in this library.
Okay, so there's a lot of really expensive books.
Well, it'd be difficult to haul them off they're there.
Irina is not, or Irina, the person in the picture is not wearing the amulet in the picture, is she? I don't get the feeling that she
They-
originally owned it.
They are not.
Oh.
Did not get that.
I'd like to cast Identify on the amulet, assuming Ahri tells us that he found it.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to be like, oh, move.
It'd be kind of weird if you did. Anyway, so cast Identify, and you're able to confirm what you feel in your heart once you gaze upon it. With the weight of destiny, you identify what is known as the holy symbol of Ravenkind.
Cool.
Now, it requires attunement by a cleric or paladin of good alignment.
Yeah.
So it's completely useless to us.
I could.
You know, I don't even want to know what it does.
Okay.
I don't even want to know what it does. It's just gonna hurt me.
I could multi.
No, you can't.
Cleric or paladin.
Requires wisdom 13 and charisma 13.
Oh yeah, no, that's impossible.
Just, I don't even,
Damn.
not to sound ungrateful, but I don't even fucking want to know what it does because it's just gonna make me angry.
Okay. In character, you know if it ever becomes important.
Okay.
I'll haul it out.
Is there any
Found-
effects that we can use without the attunement?
No, it requires attunement.
It's one of the
Magic
items that has
items
it like
don't.
right up there. The icon had like separate whatever, but this
But
one
you still
just-
needed to
okay.
be attuned to the icon in order to use the effects. Magic items that require attunement have no effects if they're not attuned. Nothing can be used with them.
I believe
That's
the
how it
icon
works.
didn't specify class.
No,
Actually.
it doesn't.
No.
It has an effect that requires you to have a certain ability that's only available to certain classes, but it can be attuned by anyone who's good aligned, which is why I attuned to it. This item is completely unusable unless you have a cleric or a paladin.
We should still take it.
I'm not going to leave it behind. It is completely useless to us, though.
So holy
Two
symbol-
items in here.
Holy symbol of Raven guy. Maybe we can give it back to the Wire Raven.
No, we need it. We this is one of the things we literally need to
Right.
When
defeat
we
Strahd.
had a cleric, we don't have one.
It was one of
You
the
know, if
items
someone
that
is like,
Madam
yeah, you
Eva
got 2
told
items
us
here.
It is
You know, if
required.
Grayla was alive, she would have gotten 2
Yes,
awesome
then
items.
she would have gotten +2 full play and a holy symbol.
Man, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Fucking guy.
you found it.
We have. Alright.
That is two.
We still are missing one
is
that's
two of the
definitely
three.
in here though.
Yeah.
What
Are
if-
the doors here lockable?
Wait, it's true.
I'm certain. I will scan.
Well, it would be if you thought it came lock
I don't know if I can lock them.
Yeah.
Fortress within a fortress, hidden by fire. What if it's one of the locations that we have to get to from the brazier?
None of those
Oh,
places look
for
like
a ra-
fortress, though.
One of the places was a giant iron or a door that was bounded with iron. Was the violet one? Was the one that Sahar saw? Or the Amber Temple? The Amber Temple might have been considered a fortress.
We're going to the Amber Temple anyway.
But it might also be that place that was with the violet stone.
What was this Violet Stone place, David?
I.
You know, I'll ask during the break.
Yeah,
It's fucking.
There are a couple of doors that don't mention on the description, or maybe I just missed them. However, they don't appear to be lockable.
Do they open inwards or outwards?
There's a set of double doors that open inwards, and then there's a door like to the side that opens outward. But
Let's just move bookshelves in the way.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you can still.
Siguror, move bookshelves. We'll rest up and then continue.
I'll start moving bookshelves, and while I'm doing that, I would mention what are the chances that that is the fire that it is talking about?
You can check it if you'd like.
Granted, we do not actually
No, give.
Do you want me to
But
make
we can do
checks
that
to
during
move bookshelves?
Yeah, move the bookshelves first.
In this case, I'm going to say no. You're moving bookshelves. It's tough. It's kind of slow going. But eventually you manage to barricade both ways.
And then take a short rest. And they can check out the fireplace if they want to. I'm going to be sitting down to do stuff.
You wanted to check out the fireplace?
Yeah, I mean, I'll look it over, see if it looks different than a regular fireplace.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is there somebody else that also wanted to do so? Or is it just
Could also be the brazier.
I got 7, so I don't see anything.
Perception, you said? Or
Yeah, I guess perception would make sense.
7.
Okay.
Who all's down hit points?
I'm down 32.
Because I can cast Cure Wounds as a warlock twice, and then get to the spell slots immediately back. Short rest.
That's on him. I'm not down any.
How much?
I'm down 32
Alright.
How much are you down?
out of 105. I will also note, as a part of the rest, I would be definitely taking a look at those books that seemed familiar.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it one second, Jeff.
I want to say that, but I'm going to make sure I have it right.
You heal for 12, so you heal for 8.
Correct.
20, and I'll spend a hit die.
Well, also spend.
Yeah, well, you can spend.
While you're resting.
You were down. How much were you doing? 25?
Yeah, we only have 48, so.
16? I'd spend 3 hit dice.
Alright.
You get to add your Constitution modifier for each hit dice you roll. Okay.
While the group is resting, there is
I
one
would spend
point.
2d10 and a d8 because you can spend 2 ranger hit dice.
There is a point where I'm going to say Sasha because Sasha's just kind of chilling. Here's like the single barricaded door like squeak a little bit as if something like gingerly pushes on it once, but because like it's got bookcases against it, whatever, it's more noticeable than it might be normally. There's like a push and then nothing.
How long into the rest is that?
15 minutes.
Fucking shit, really?
Now,
Fuck this place.
10 minutes into the rest, what happens before this, when you're messing around with the fireplace, you find that like nudging the poker accidentally reveals that there's a secret door like within the fireplace. Like the fire that is going like briefly extinguishes.
Okay.
Oh no.
So that goes somewhere.
I'm gonna put the poker back, because if we're resting, that is another entrance.
Well, we might as well check it out.
Did we not want to finish the rest?
I mean, could we rest and still, like, just have a look, or do we need to sit there and do literally nothing?
I'd want you to like chill and do nothing because
Let's-
a new room is
Okay, then I
potential
wait
danger.
5 more minutes. Once that happens, then I will say, never mind, let us go now.
Oh, when somebody opens the door and presses on the bookshelf.
Try to just.
Yeah, well, we're found out, so we should move.
If it's a reader. She'll let me go to his library. I could get into his library now. He left the door locked. I'm ready to go tell him.
If that's the case, that's really lame, but hey, whatever.
Then what will you do?
Continue. Let's go through that fucking secret door.
Right through the secret door.
I get my spells back.
Yep.
Are you gonna undo the hit dice that you were
No.
spending?
Oh, you
yeah.
have to.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to.
Like if it's full,
take a short rest here.
You need a break. I need a break.
Maybe. Going through the secret door brings you to a smoke-filled room. The room is relatively devoid of detailings with the exception of a number of gold, silver, and copper coins that are like scattered around the room, and there's a chest, an iron chest with clawed feet like detailing at its bottom that is in the center of this room.
It's a mimic. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that because of the
No.
feet.
I'm sorry, can you...
Never mind.
What was in here?
The room has a bunch of gold, silver, and copper coins scattered over it, in addition to an iron chest that's at the center of the room that has little carved claws like at the bottom. I also like, there's more. In that attached to the eastern wall, there are two stone torch sconces. The southernmost one of those two sconces holds a torch with an intricate metal base. It sticks out just because it looks fancier than the other one. The other one is empty. There's also a skeleton in what appears to be broken plate armor that lies against one of the walls. The skeleton's right hand is on its throat, and the left hand holds a torch the same size as like the empty sconce.
Well, you guys should definitely look around for traps. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look over at the, I'm sorry, one of the sconces you said had like an elaborate bottom to it.
Yeah.
I'll do a little investigation on that.
Alright.
20.
8.
What do you add to save soul dexterity or?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Then 30.
One thief soul should be proficiency.
No,
No, it has
you
stat
always roll a
attached to
stat
it.
attached to it.
It's Steve's tools,
Dexterity.
dexterity or whatever.
Well, I was just wondering, just because for Artificer, it's whenever you use anything, it's double your proficiency.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be double your proficiency
Plus a stat.
plus the stat. When Squid rolls to open stuff, I have him roll dexterity thieves tools.
You are explicitly looking at the empty sconce that is detailed and looking at it a little more, investigating it. You find that there are some really, really difficult to see hinges, like where it connects to the wall, indicating that
It can be pulled or slid.
if something is put in it, like it moves. And that movement is connected to something. You think you've discovered some kind of mechanism that triggers something in this room if you put the torch back.
Well, yeah, if
I'll put the torch back.
the corpse is holding.
Right, are you two
I'll-
looking
I'll
at
go
anything?
over to
Or
the.
is it just you?
Wait, what? Oh, I got a 30.
I got 8.
You looking around, you don't find anything of particular interest that hasn't been described, and you don't find any traps. Unfortunately, the same goes for you both again.
That's fine.
I pick up the torch and I put it in the sconce.
I take all the monies.
Doing so reveals
Oh, also, does detect magic determine anything about the chest or the money?
detect magic doesn't reveal anything special about the chest or
Okay.
the contents. And when you put the torch in its sconce, it reveals another secret door. What lies beyond, you may find out after the break. And we're back. The group having revealed 2 things about this room. One, while Ahri was searching around, there was a point where you decided to carefully, I'm gonna say, poke at the chest, and there was like a little spritz of something, of like some kind of gas that like came out of it. So you're like, okay, there's a trap in there. And Sasha had been the one to find the mechanism that revealed a secret passage down a hallway thick
Either of you found anything?
This trap is chest. This trap is chest. Yes.
This trap is chest. Okay. What about the chest?
The chest is trap.
Oh,
That's
so
what
it
I
goes,
was
it goes both ways then.
Yeah. it goes
Well,
both.
disarm it. Let's gather up the coins, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this is some sort of decoy room, and that the real treasure will be at the end of this hall.
Right.
Good work finding this secret.
Someone else might want to check for the disarm the trap.
Well,
Or give aid.
Or give aid.
What did you
Okay.
get?
Yeah, give them aid, because you both have proficiency.
Well, that's much better.
You guys can joint unlock stuff.
I already tried this.
You're not proficient in the
Trap?
29.
Well, to be fair, I don't have investigation, so I'm not really that great.
29.
It takes some finagling, but you're able to. Oh, actually, I thought there was something else in here. I don't think there is. You were able to like deal with what's inside without opening it all the way.
Dope.
It's possible to recover what was in there? The trap, anyway?
Nah.
Let's open it.
Opening it reveals that it is empty, save for a neutralized mechanism.
Ha!
How much money is on the floor?
50
I got it.
gold.
Oh, and the guy. Because if we also look over the guy.
I should be able to immediately tell it's actual sheet because it's infinity long.
I will tell you about it in a moment.
Okay, there was 50 gold on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
For that going around picking it up.
Yeah, now I'm sure that this is a fake treasure. Let's head down to the real one, huh?
Well, no, there's also 100 silver.
Oh.
I paused
Sorry.
because I thought maybe.
Okay.
And there are also 2,000 copper pieces.
Okay. Alright.
Nothing seems to find you as you are doing that.
Okay. Let us head down here. Check for traps.
Oh, they using guidance and aid this time.
Within this hall,
Torch burning away the cobwebs.
start burning away the cobwebs. While you're doing so, you notice that there's a ceiling roughly 20 feet overhead.
You roll with man.
More and more is revealed as you like burn the cobwebs. By the way, you did like stop real quick at the dude who had like some shoddy armor on him, but nothing else.
Ah.
Worth checking out.
16.
We got a 16 check for traps in the hallway.
Okay. Let me see.
Does checking for traps also apply to checking for like ambushes and stuff?
I think that's just perception.
Ambushes are stealth against passive perception. Unless you're specifically looking for them, then you make an active perception against their stealth.
The group. Okay. The group, upon looking through this hallway, finds no traps, but you do stumble across a very large silk cocoon, maybe 4 feet tall.
Do you want to burn
Three feet
that
thick.
spear?
Cut the top. There might be something inside.
Say something.
Out of character. Can I roll a nature check? Maybe. I'm assuming this is a giant spider cocoon, like having cocoon like prey.
Heck yeah.
Or maybe it's a giant spider.
Like without a roll, like you're familiar.
Oh, okay. Good idea. I would say giant spiders. Be careful. Keep your eyes upward.
I'll take out a dagger and cut it open, I guess.
Okay. Ahri begins cutting it open. As he does so, there are a number of normal-sized spiders that start scurrying out of the cocoon. Cutting deeper, you find some withered human remains very far along.
Yes.
Very desiccated.
They don't have anything on them, I take it.
No. There's not even cloth in here.
That's disgusting.
It is.
Additionally, the group, while two of you in particular are like going through the hole, you manage to find another secret door.
Yeah. Neat.
Check that one for traps. 16.
Being very careful with it, you find no traps on it.
Oh, let's open it up.
I don't believe I said, but there's also like some double doors at the very end of this passage in addition to this.
Let's go to secret route first.
Very well. Since the two of you were kind of inspecting things, I'll say one of you opens the door, whichever one you prefer.
I'll do it.
Okay. The door very quickly leads to a vertical shaft that plunges downwards into darkness and also goes upwards.
I don't think this is it somehow.
Is there a rope or anything? Does it look like a dumbwaiter?
There's not. And the shaft is too large to be a dumbwaiter.
Is it an elevator?
Yeah.
I was thinking character, you want to sing bird?
Maybe.
I thought I already did.
You make
It's some sort of. I'm not sure.
If the top is not too far away, we could try to get grapple up there. If there is something useful.
How large is the shaft?
It's 10 feet by 10 feet.
It might actually be an elevator.
There's some sort of secret chamber Strahd uses to scale the tower quickly since he has the ability to climb on walls. Regardless,
Sure.
there was another way we could go. Might as well keep going that way. We'll figure out what this chamber for is later.
These double doors, when pushed open, I will say by crack, reveal yet another room. In here, you're suddenly able to hear rain and thunder outside, and the air here is cold and damp. Veils and curtains of webbing fill the room, making it hard to gauge its width and depth. A single narrow path leads to the dark center of the room, where a rope dangles from high above.
The old tower?
Yeah.
So make sure I didn't miss anything.
So what direction are we going in?
Where does the rope lead?
Upwards.
Do I see what it eventually leads to? Or is it just a rope that goes up as far as we can see?
Looking, it goes up kind of high. Like you can make out some cobwebs. But that and like the darkness obscures like where the rope ends.
There's stairs going
I'll
up.
send Sahar up alongside the rope to see what's up there. It'll keep its distance from the webs, if at all possible.
Well, the rope goes into the webs. There's like rope, and then there's like.
How high does the rope go up?
Is Sahar affected by the darkness with dark vision?
just gonna have to go through the webs to see
At
what's on the other
least
side.
30 feet.
At least 30 feet.
That's
Do
about
I
where like
think-
your range gets off.
Can I roll an intelligence check to determine if there's a way to burn the webs without burning the rope, like with a firebolt? Because webbing burns really easily, so if I do it like low intensity, basically, so that it'll burn away all the webs really fast, but not. Because I mean, rope doesn't burn immediately.
Now, burning webs would burn away. Normally, burning webs like go up like hair.
A knowledge check wouldn't really help. You're aware that like the best that you could do is like try to like aim away from the rope and hope that enough of it stays away from the rope that it doesn't like burn and damage it. Alternatively, if you had a way of like extinguishing it immediately afterwards, like to
So
get
I have
extra
control flame.
Can I Eldritch Blast around the rope? I can shoot multiple beams, and they're beams, right, that go 120 feet around the rope so that the rope and the webs are no longer connected, and then you can burn the webs away.
Alright, yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
I would accept that.
Okay. Once he blasts the webbing in such a way that they're not connected to the rope anymore, I'll then shoot firebolt and Cantus Pulcar Imperial and fire a firebolt.
You blast the webbing. You firebolt. As the webs are burned away, they reveal a number of quickly plummeting spiders. Large,
Spiders?
angry.
Yeah, I figured this might happen.
Are they plummeting? Like
Plummeting.
Well,
yeah, they take fire.
okay. Not plummeting, scurrying,
Oh,
I
okay.
should say.
Okay.
Webs
They can
burned
fall-
away.
They can probably fall pretty
Webs
far.
burned away. Their approach is unobscured.
They're not like real world tarantulas where they just break apart.
well, some spiders.
Fall
some
noise.
distance.
Yeah, usually big spiders can't, but indeed that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Come on! All my initiative's been trash. Man, you know, it'd be really useful for this. Staff
Staff of what?
of power. This is the worst feeling in the world to have an awesome item and not be able to use it because attunement is dumb and stupid. I hate it.
What did your initiative get?
7. Because I'm just trash.
What about Crack?
25.
What about
18.
what about Siguror?
20. 7.
If we fight Baba Yaga, I'm so gonna use Global Vulnerability and be like, what? Do what? Fight me. Oh, what?
Then she casts fucking.
It would be 1B.
Then she casts what is
What
it?
have you won me, you old witch?
Takes like a drink of what is it, Tensor's transformation or something.
Potions can't be that high level. She'd have to have a scroll of Tensor's transformation. Even then, I'll just fly away and shoot her to death with my gun.
As the spiders descend, you have your choice of standing place.
Where are the spiders? Can I see where they're gonna land?
They're just gonna.
Where's the door actually?
Here.
Is the door here?
Double doors. Were here.
is that a possible location?
That's too far. They're falling, so you have a moment to like adjust
You need firewall
yourselves.
steps.
Okay, that's fine. Then I will be here, and Ari will be here, and Izzy will be right here. Don't come near me! I'm joking. You guys can be however. I'll just. Was the webs on this side of the room or this side of the room? Where the I would have been.
They were like up.
But they were equal on each side, basically? Okay, then I'll be here, I guess. And there unless you move purposely. Okay.
Where are the two of you going to stand?
I'll take the other side. Yeah.
Wow.
Crack, what do you want to do?
There it is.
Next year, I guess.
Here's a spider. Give me spider.
No.
Give me iron spider.
Mechanical
That'll
spiders.
teach these guys.
I could, if I go 3 levels in Artificer and get a Iron Guardian, I could just make it a Mecha Spider. If I want to go full Arcanum for some reason.
Oh, never a full arcanum.
But I don't think I'm going to go 3 Artificer.
I really like the idea of a little tiny spider mine that gets up and chases people before blowing up.
Spider mines.
You can do that in Arcanum.
That sounds bad.
It's pretty cool. Tech's a little underpowered compared to magic, but some of the stuff is strong. It's just, whereas most magic is strong, very specific tech is strong.
I understand.
Hallucinogenic grenade is powerful. Spider drone is pretty good. Lightning ring, or I think it's called the charged ring. Ooh, more spiders than I've done already.
There are 5 of them.
Right. Where's this?
They come down to attack. This is another question. I'll say as it was looking up, he doesn't really move. And then it happens. Or rather than someone happens, that someone being oh damn. Being Crack. How could I have thought otherwise? With his 25. They're all spiders. Giant spiders.
Attack
Be
the red
careful, these
stars.
just do a lot of damage. A disproportionately high amount of damage for what you would imagine.
Is it physical damage or is it poison damage?
Poison take is really high. I mean, their base damage isn't that
23 to hit.
That is a hit. Oh, you said which one you were attacking, but I missed it.
Red or
The red one, if I can, with the spear.
Okay.
fucking out of the abyss and make you fight 3 of them at level 1, and I'm like,
With the one, I got 14 damage. And now I'll attack. That's like a 20. 16.
That is it.
13 damage on this one.
You spear out. Actually, that is enough. You spear out once, punching a huge hole through its spindly body. You then strike again, killing it. Their bodies are soft.
I'll attack other starters. 16.
you still have advantage.
Wait. Even though I thought
they
it was.
haven't gone.
They haven't gone.
Yeah.
Ranger.
Even if,
Yeah.
if they're that close, I'm key blast.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I misunderstood you.
So 16 then.
Yeah, 16.
Which you said is a hit already.
Boy, yeah, boy it is.
Yeah, 9 damage.
Then you strike the other for 9 damage, drawing forth its insectoid blood.
Cool. Hopefully someone kills it before it happens.
The one you struck down would go, but it has been struck down, making it Siguror's turn.
Good.
Okay. 2. Yeah, I'll expend the last rage. Move here between them all. Spear, then spear.
Very well.
For 19, 29 to hit first,
No, it misses.
and 26 to hit second.
Those are both hits.
This one takes 15, this one takes 14, and this one's surrounded.
This one is destroyed, curling and flailing, its limbs in the air. The other one is struck and significantly harmed.
Passive for plus 0.
It is also surrounded. Your ancestors once again join you on the battlefield.
That's a cool passive. I give you.
Has to be the killing blow.
Still, it's still cool.
Oh yeah.
Wait, did they?
It's like a much more reasonable version of Black Race.
Yeah.
That doesn't just go
this.
all the
2d6,
HP.
not just your max.
Hey, 200 hit point of freedom.
What did you say, dude?
I said something to the effect of accurate, but I couldn't say that. And then, after Siguror... Oh, what do you know? It's Ahri.
I will blast.
How's Jane?
I'll just blast. How
Sounds like an anime move. Eldritch Blast!
This is like a fucked up version of a Taras.
So I'll just blast her. His kisses closer to me and his side.
Okay.
It would be like if they made a new wizardry
Well, in
anime.
front of these.
Because back in
No.
like the 70s, they made an anime series, or I think it was an
They
OVA.
both have. They would have cover either way as I'm attacking that one.
I heard you say that you were going to attack both of them.
No, I'm attacking the one closer to me.
Well,
Although I don't imagine a 10 hits, right? So
no.
okay, and one of my blasts hits for 24, and it does 10 damage, but the other one misses.
Alright. And just to make sure, this one, an Eldritch Blast, taking a chunk out of one of the walls and a chunk out of your intended target.
He is pushed too.
I guess that's true. He's pushed. He slams into the wall that was previously harmed. Its dripping face tendrils flailing as it does so. Its eyes shifting about. It's eager to strike, but knows not where. But it's going to do its best to think of a place as it rights itself and goes on the move. It settles for Siguror. Or perhaps it does not have the bestial mind to seek anything else. It attacks.
It doesn't have the ability to look at Sash and be like, I will definitely hit if I attack this guy.
A 17 hits Siguror, right?
My AC is 15.
Then Siguror is bitten into by a spider.
Ouch.
I will want a Constitution save from you.
Hey, it's probably fine.
Probably. Maybe. So 14.
First, after reduction, you will take 3 physical damage. And being as hardy as you are, though the venom pumps in your veins pump back. It inflicts 2 poison damage. I'm not sure if your rage reduces poison damage. Then it's 2 poison damage.
You're not a bear, Tyler. You can just be like, poison doesn't hurt me.
Just thinking about the fear.
I am angry like bear.
thinking about. There's a boss in the MGS right, where if you poison him, or if he eats like a poison frog or anything, you go poison.
I guess I was throwing up too.
Yeah.
So you have a chance to get it and get it.
There are 2 other spiders that attempt to bite and scratch at Siguror, but these are in futility. Then becomes Sasha's turn.
I'm gonna cast Magic Missile. And is this one to get?
No.
But this one's one, right?
Yeah.
1 missile, 2 missiles. This one was really fucked up by one of the beams, so I'm hoping that 2 damage kills him. Probably not.
Well, how much damage did you do again? Was it 14?
24.
It was 10.
No, it was 24 to
beam.
hit.
Yeah, it was 24 to hit, but I did 2
Oh.
damage to him with 1 beam.
I thought you did 24 damage to him.
No, that was 24 to hit.
Then can I put all 3 missiles on him? Because I drastically misunderstood the amount of damage to his health.
I thought that at first, and then when it was like 10 damage, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was... Wow, that's awesome. 6 damage. I rolled minimum damage on my magic missile.
However, that is enough. You pelt that one with missiles, it's destroyed.
And Irina pile on this one.
Laying its a spidery heap. Then the Irenas go.
14?
And
Does a 14 hit?
yes.
Okay, the first Irina attempts to rip part of its leg off for 4 damage. Second one, does an 11 hit?
No. It like zoops out of the way.
However, that one hits for another 4 damage. I'm rolling, well, I've rolled 5d4 in this turn, and they have all rolled 1.
Yeah.
This next one hits for 6 damage, so 4, 4, and 6. This one hits for...
You had to
This
say
one
something.
crit for 5 damage.
Critical for
I always
minimal.
roll
Yeah.
minimum damage on crits, I swear to God.
However, it is enough as the arenas rip and tear, one of them taking an eye for itself before like throwing it to the ground and like
So it was 74 in 1 turn that you rolled?
And I got a 1 on all of them except for 1.
Yeah.
Then I got a 3.
That is...
Then becomes
Statistically improbable.
Ezek's turn.
Yet it happens all the same. Oh, is it got worse than a 5? Holy shit.
He's doing his best. What can he say?
Nothing.
He swings with his axe. The spider jumping over it, and then he swings again. And despite his first miss, his second hit manages to decapitate Spider. Cool.
Nice.
One shot.
He does a lot of damage. The first time he got a hit on us, it was for like almost 30.
The tower is now free of spiders.
Okay.
Are those stairs going
I'll
up or
send
down?
stairs.
You mean rope?
What was me? This is a bell tower.
There are not stairs.
Yeah, it's just rope.
Now that the webs have been burned away and like it's not obscured, you have to squint a little bit, but there is a dark bell shape like upwards.
Can I send Sahara up to see if there's anything up there?
Sure.
It seems weird that there's just a hidden passage to a bell tower. And nothing else?
Zahara flies up and gets a look at an old but well-crafted bell. It's quite large. It attaches to the rope. There's a mechanism up here used for ringing it. But doesn't find anything else of note.
Okay. Guess we should go back and check out that dark shaft then.
I wonder if that dark shaft is in.
Either that or I'm wrong about there being a secret treasury. But I don't feel wrong. I doubt his fucking treasure room has like 100 gold effectively. And
I
nothing
doubt this
else.
is his treasure room.
Well, the thing
It might be
what
closer
I'm
to the
saying-
throne room.
No, but what I'm saying is the first room we entered, the first secret room, had had some coins and a treasure chest, almost like it's a treasury. But it didn't clearly have that much, so wouldn't this be a fake treasury? Why would you have a fake treasury here unless the real treasury is close by and throw people off the side?
Adventurers coming into your castle, so you just make dick rooms because you're a dick.
You built this castle before
yeah.
he was a vampire.
The castle was built before he became the boss of a module, so it has to function like something that makes sense for a normal person to have. And a normal person builds a fake treasure room because it's hiding a real treasure room.
Unless your treasure room's on the other side of the castle.
Then what is the point of this room? In case anyone randomly climbs into this fireplace, here's a room where I store a little bit of treasure. Just cause this room doesn't make any sense unless it's covering up for a real treasure room.
You maneuver back to the shaft. It's still here.
I'll send Sahara up. He has dark vision, so
How much can you carry?
almost nothing. He's an owl.
Sahar flies up, and after 40 feet, comes to stone.
Just empty stone.
Yeah.
There's no thing else at the top. Is just stone on all the walls.
Without giving it like a more thorough look over.
Yeah, we'll give it a more thorough look.
Perception check is
22.
coming down.
Examining more closely, there's some indentations that suggest that this is a trapdoor. While there's no apparent way to open it on this side, like there's a rim that can be seen in the
Okay,
darkness.
then Sahara will fly to the bottom and see if there's anything at the bottom.
What if this shaft
To
is
the
simply
bottom.
here as a trap for a room?
Well, that's what he says. It's a trap door. The top of this is a trap door. So clearly it is a trap. I'm just double checking if there's anything at the bottom. But it's looking like it's just a trap. But then what the fuck is the point of all this then? Doesn't make any sense.
The shaft goes very far down, passes through a number of places. At the very bottom, coming out into a room. What kind of room, you might ask? Well,
Yeah, what kind of room?
a dusty 10-foot wide room that is attached to a 30-foot long corridor with a flat ceiling that has like a cutout for the shaft. And to the south of this room, there is a web-filled stairway that spirals down into darkness. And at the north end of the hall, there's a wooden door.
So it's something even deeper. Jesus.
Well, depending on what floor what floor you're on right now.
Yeah, this could just be back towards where we came from.
Right, because we did teleport.
Okay. I'll bring Sahar back up. So, we checked everything in here, right?
I believe so, yes.
And there was nothing we missed? I mean, I didn't technically roll a perception check near the bell room, did I?
No, but I feel like other people did.
Didn't I?
I feel like the
Can
tower
I
was
wrench-
inspected. In fact, I'm pretty sure that Crack like looked around.
Yeah, but he looked around the bottom. He didn't look at the top. Could I have said that I had Sahar look around at the top of the tower?
Didn't you though? When Sahar got up and I was describing the bell, I thought that was the
And then there was
result of
nothing else.
perception.
I didn't roll perception. You just told me what I found, which was nothing, but...
Well, I thought you did, which, not to give it away, means that there wasn't anything special up there. So I won't have
Then
you
can
roll.
we
and
go
see.
back and check the original room and see if there's something we missed? Because we checked it for traps, but...
You can if you want.
20.
15.
On what?
Go back to the room. And you search it again. Well, you don't find anything. You are intruded upon. You hear it before you see it. The sound of an old woman's voice calling down the hall, Grizzle cuts! Grizzle cuts! And then like you super hear it. Like it's not even trying to be stealthy. Like a hunched old woman like comes through the door and goes, eh? And sees you. And then fucking like closes it
Shit.
and like starts running, and then you can hear on the other side of the door.
I know there was a lady that was feeding the spiders. If the spiders were pets.
What does she look like?
She's an old hunched over woman.
Does she look like
This dirty dress.
She just looked like a person,
It's
not
got
a
like
like.
scraggly hair. She also had a hat.
Which
It's
is
kind
not
of patchy. You could call it that. Like you didn't get like a super good look. But,
Immediately, yeah. If she closes the door, I'm immediately giving fucking chase. Fucking, that's the other person.
follow after.
Giveaway.
Siguror bursts through the door. Doesn't see anything.
Was this the door back to the library, or was this like another side?
You're in the bell tower right now, so this is just like the door to the passageway that you burned all the vents.
She's turning invisible.
I'm just gonna keep charging forward because if this is just a hallway,
Okay.
then I'm gonna keep going because there's only one entrance out of that fucking room, and that's the fireplace.
This might be a little silly, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll an attack technically. Disadvantage. I'll just count this as like I'll count this as a shove technically, so like we still
Reckless, the
Do it.
shove. To lose the disadvantage.
if you want.
Sure. I mean, if it works. Is this just like? Would this be with horns or?
Just roll like you would roll an attack.
Okay.
Well, I mean, don't add like the plus for your weapon.
Yeah. Would be 16.
With you in about a moment. You're with me. Okay, there we are. You decide that the only way to move through this is to charge through. With how far could she have gone? And a little less than halfway down the thing, you feel yourself run into something, and people hear an ack, and then there's like some dust that like poof, where something has fallen over.
Able to use the bonus action for having horns. backwards, knock her and hit backwards? Or no? Okay.
You've knocked her over, and depending
Bravo.
on what you want to do now, it is either initiative or talking time. Maybe both.
Have you attempt to initiate grapple, or is that just the initiative?
I'm gonna take initiative for that.
22.
See, you just need to complain enough.
Tell me, wait, don't tell me. You're home, right? It was.
Oh.
It was beautiful. What did Sasha get?
I'm sitting in
22.
What did you get?
60.
What did you get?
10.
And what did Crack get?
8.
And Isaac got something. So, as you charge, the doors open, the rest of you see, like you saw, what happened and what's up. You're one step ahead, you believe she turned invisible. Your hunch is correct. I believe that you would be going first since you said like 20.
Okay, 22.
Visible on the ground.
Cantus, Polgar, Imperio. And I would cast Magic Missile. Yes.
Oh, you don't need to see
Yes.
first.
I know where it is because you knocked them over.
Ah,
Something.
At that
was
square.
Fire magic.
clear.
And
Go ahead.
hopefully that breaks the concentration on her invisibility. She has to make a concentration check. Either on half the damage or 10, whichever is higher. They will almost certainly be 10. 8 damage. Just make a DC 10 Constitution save in order to maintain concentration on her invisibility.
Who knows? Maybe she's old enough where she has a negative to comment. We don't know.
Sasha fires. The missiles strike their target.
Fuck.
Do they sound like they did?
Well, he sees like the missiles like strike and disperse onto something.
Okay.
It's not like the missiles just disappear and go, maybe we hit, maybe we didn't. No, he fires and there's a space that's like, go, go, go. And you also hear her make sounds of anguish as well. She's invisible, but she's not hidden. It's just one of those things. And then, that becomes her turn. You hear a different, older voice than Kant, as the person that heard. And I want Sasha to make a. Actually, no, never mind. Not Sasha. I want you to make, I was misreading the spell, a wisdom save.
Shit. Alright.
Great.
It's fun. It's 13.
Okay.
You don't have advantage on this because of rage?
Wisdom.
Oh, you're not.
She
I'm also out of range. See.
decides to take her risk. She reveals herself to cast a spell upon you. However, despite this horrible tickling that starts to like well up within you, you need to like stuff it down,
Josh is hideous.
and she like frowns. And it's like, you're not as stupid as you look. It then becomes Siguror's turn, perhaps prophetically.
So this is the one who was invisible and just revealed himself. And I'm gonna initiate a grapple. Fucking just pick her up and just grapple. I think it's a opposed strength check.
Alternatively, athletics, if she had athletics.
I mean, it's athletics. I roll athletics.
You roll athletics and then they choose to roll athletics.
Oh.
I wasn't quite certain.
17.
You easily grasp her in her rattly bones. She like pull her tight. She goes, ah! You wouldn't hurt no woman, would you? She's grappled.
A witch and sends the Strahd, of course. You can still attack. Grapple takes one of your attack actions.
No, shut up. I guess that's true, and I forgot. You can take another attack if you want, and then since she's already gone, it can be both of you. Or technically, one of you will go for him.
Since I am grappling, I'm assuming I can't use my hands to bash her with my arms.
Technically no, but go for it for instance.
18 to hit.
That's
So 10 damage.
You hear a loud cracking as she like arches in your grip, shouting, "My back! My back!" She gurgles a little bit. You've defeated her. You can choose whether or not you're going to kill her.
Probably.
I had butter so hard that your fucking neck snaps.
I mean, if I'm grappling, I'm just headbutting, so probably
It's
not.
up to you.
No, it depends on what you.
She is a witch in service to Strahd. Would Siguror kill a fucking witch?
If we know she's a witch,
Okay.
I would just headbutt her
In
to knock her
fairness-
out, and because we could question, she might know more than the vampire.
She's
Let's just throw down the shaft.
I guess you could. She's defeated.
Are you sure she's a witch? She seemed to go down quite easily.
No, she turned invisible because.
Yeah.
Of
You
course
use
she's
magic
a-
and you are not a witch.
No, I am a wizard.
Regardless.
What's with all the second degree? She's clearly a witch.
Yeah. What are we going with her? Wait, does she have any honor? I'll check.
Make sure we're all build woman before we decide whether to fucking let her live or throw her down an elevator shaft.
Okay. Either way.
Looking over her, she has a dagger upon her, though it's like not a normal dagger. It's closer to like a kitchen knife. It's just a little nastier looking, and it's not a weapon. And also a bag of what to the normal layman would be a bunch of random animal parts and herbs, but since you know what magic is, you're like, oh, it's probably for her spell casting. I forgot you weren't a sorcerer. I just got editorialized, but I don't have to.
That's it.
That's all she had.
Do we want to question her?
I suppose. Although I'm not sure she will know anything more than vampire did. And I no longer am able to discern truth. I'm out of that particular magic.
We could just end her now then.
Throw down the shaft.
Do what you want, I wash my hands of this. And Sasha's gonna keep looking around to try to find so, yeah.
Once you're able to finish your inspection of the room, you find like there's nothing that you missed in the room before.
This whole section of the castle seems completely redundant. Oh well.
Well, it's only one part of a section we got teleported to.
Wait, so did If we go back to the study, do we find that the door's been unlocked? How did she get in here?
Were you heading back to the study?
I'll sneak back there and look. Yeah.
What, well, I mean, how did she get into this chamber? She didn't
Yeah.
get into the study, right? Because we got in here through the fireplace in the study.
No, that's a logical line of questioning. I was just wondering, like,
Yeah,
If
If
you
the
guys
study
going
hasn't
back
been
by the way?
touched, then there is another way.
I'll sneak back.
okay. What are the rest of you doing in the
I'll head back to the study as
Yeah.
well. We're
Back
right
to the study.
next room.
16.
If you walk normally, you're probably going to surpass your friend who is sneaking.
Oh, well, I'm just sneaking so that if I peek around the corner and there's people there, then
I'll wait for them to finish their stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
27. I'll sleep.
Oh, as well.
I got 16.
Then the two of you are able to sneak, are able to look, and the bookcases from the double doors have been moved.
Okay.
I'll go tell
It's fine. That's how they got in here.
him. Yeah.
She did not appear to believe there was a threat in this direction. Maybe they moved the bookshelves normally.
Said you could throw it down.
If you guys wanted to, I was just going to take a javelin and just end her. If you want to toss her,
However you want to do it, I don't care. I'm going out of the... Let's go out into the hallway and have a look around.
I really don't care just as long as she's in there. That's why I was asking. I just want to make sure.
End her.
Yeah.
She's killed.
Yeah, I go out into the hallway. What did I say?
Into the hallway, like, that connects to the,
Study.
connects to the bell tower, or like,
Double door.
No, no, I go out and past the double doors. Well, there's nothing for us back there. We looked everywhere and didn't find anything, so...
fair. You find it. Double doors. Through the double doors. You find... Let's hold it like this. I don't need to. You find that a sweet smell wafts up and all around this delicately lit room. There is a great arched window along the west wall, and it is covered by heavy red drapery. The golden tassels glinting in the light of 3 candelabras sitting atop small tables about the room. There is a tall white candles burn with bright, steady light inside those candelabras. And there's also a large bed, canopied by silk curtains. It sits with its headboard against the northern wall. Carved into the headboard with great skill is a large Z in common. Lying amid the velvet and satin sheets and bedclothes is a young woman in a nightgown. One of her daintily slippers? I think it's a typo. One of her dainty slippers has fallen to the floor at the bed's foot. That will read better next time.
It's fine. Sometimes there are weird typos like that.
As you enter, the woman looks up and regards you curiously.
So she doesn't look familiar at all?
No.
I should look like a vampire. Spine.
Moving in, she appears to be normal. She's definitely not a vampire spawn. She asks, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
We are treasured guests. Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Not more guests. Ugh.
Have you seen other guests? Have you seen a woman?
Yes. Don't get me started.
Where is she?
She's with the master somewhere else. Which is completely unfair if you ask me. I was supposed to be his princess, not her. I've been here way longer and I deserve it more.
How old does she look?
She's a young woman, maybe maybe between 18 and 20.
Okay, but she's not like young. And okay.
Definitely not.
Okay. It's like, what the hell?
For everything that he is, he's not a pedo.
It's awful. Please don't tell me you're here to visit him too. Or leaving, maybe?
Actually, we have come here to recover this woman and take her from this castle. So it would behoove you to tell us where she is right now and when she is away from the master. We get what we want, and you have more time with your beloved. Yes? And if I have to roll persuasion, I'll use one of my portents.
She's on board.
Okay.
This is a me calculating how does she respond phase.
Question
But of course, we have to do it without him knowing if he is so attached to her.
Are we on the north side or south side?
That will be hard. He hasn't left her side since she got here. I think I know where they are now, though.
What?
Last I heard, they were in the throne room.
Really? Throne.
Oh! Is one of you in love with her? If one of you is in love with her, and you confessed your love, you could take her and ride off with her.
I believe this one over here is.
Who are you pointing to?
I point to. Who in the small notes?
She...
Wait, how would Ahri know that?
I don't know, I'm just lying.
It may be rather telling that I'm not asking you for a deception right now, as she goes, "Oh, perfect! Strahd could never get in the way of true love, and then I could..."
Wait.
Oh, she doesn't
Before
know.
you go any further.
Oh, she might not know.
Okay. Has he well, you know what he's done recently, yes?
Spent all his time with that woman.
But I mean before that. When he returned, he had something moved from his crypt to the southern side of the castle. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
You don't know where it was moved? It would have been obvious that would have been moving things around.
I'm afraid I haven't seen him in some time. When he came back with that woman, I protested. It reminded him of my existence. He told me to stay here.
How long have you been here?
Much longer than that woman has. I've been here for months.
What do you...
Strahd has taken his time wooing me.
What do you know of...
It is clear that she is not aware if that is what you are getting at, Siguror.
May I ask you what your name is?
Where are you from?
My name was Gertruda, but I would prefer Princess von Zarvich.
Yes.
At least once we are properly married.
Where are you from, girl?
I'm from here. Barovia, of course.
The
Out of
town?
character, when you were reading that other vampire spawn's mind, I mentioned, and you would remember, that the guy in his head didn't refer to Irina, he referred by her name, but instead by the woman that Gertruda is pissed at.
Right, okay.
Okay, so it wasn't one of the
Right.
wives.
I will... Okay. Hold on. You are from the town of Barovia, yes?
Yes.
Out of character, that screaming woman that Mark mentioned, like, whose child had been disappeared, did he tell me her name?
I believe so, and I believe he referred to the woman's name as Mary. Like the woman who was wailing. He didn't give a name for the kid.
Is your mother Mary of Barovia?
Yes. Do you know her?
Yes, she's very worried about you. She has been inconsolable since you left.
She can stand to worry, keeping me cooped up in that house. If I had listened to her, I never would have gotten here and met my true love.
Yes.
Oh boy.
You see. Okay. Yeah. This lady.
You're not thinking of taking me back,
Can
are
you
you?
No,
tell
no.
if somebody's hit?
I won't go.
or
You can't
anything?
make me.
Or
Can
somebody's
I roll
charmed?
Arcana to tell if she's charmed? Actually, can I cast Identify on her to tell if she's under the effect of a charm?
I'm not sure that Identify can do that.
We can determine if someone is under the effect of a magical.
Oh, well then, okay. But you may.
Is she charmed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of the answer, but I want to double check.
You're casting as a ritual, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so while he's doing that, I'll tell her. I'll say, since he's casting the spell, I'll just distract him. I'll say, so tell me what you were saying about Strahd can't get in the way of true love.
Oh yeah, if you just get her to talk, she'll talk.
She very eagerly begins talking to you about the ultimate beauty of true love. The only thing powerful enough in any proper fairy tale to make people live happily ever after. You are able to very easily ritual cast, and she's not under the condition of a spell.
No.
So
crap.
yeah, she's just drunk the Kool-Aid. Okay. I will say. Yes.
And
Well.
that's just how it is. It couldn't be any other way, of course. As you finish.
Of course not. Why would it be any other way than what you just said it was? Obviously, a character. I'm not cracking up at her naivety, but
I will say. This is.
Gertrude, have you seen anything that is that your master is particularly concerned about, other than that woman in this castle?
Not that I can think of. Though stately matters are nothing for a princess to concern herself with.
There, another question. If he is king and was to marry you, wouldn't that be queen instead of princess? Is that not how entitlement works in this land?
No, because I'm not old. I'd be a princess. She huffily crosses her arms.
Ah, okay.
Don't-
Okay.
She is irritated with this whole logic that you found. It's just please.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yes, princess.
Okay.
He's wrong. He's really. Don't listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't take that
Right.
cigarette, not me.
Okay, so other than knocking this woman unconscious and dragging her from the castle by force, which I don't even think is going to do anything, she is.
She'll come back here on her own.
Yeah, she'll
if we
just
need her.
walk back.
Yeah, so let's just not even bother.
She could probably get herself killed out in the forest. Going, oh, nothing bad happened to
If
me.
we take her out and she tries to get back in, and Strahd is fixated on Arena, he might just murder her. I don't give a shit about you anymore.
Yeah.
Alright, let's.
You know that she already told you that he told her to fucking wait up here.
Yeah.
And she's been doing that
She's
for
been
like
doing
a week.
this. She doesn't like it though.
Okay,
She's like,
wow.
"No, I'm here. I'm a princess." Strahd's like, no, get out of here.
He
Holy
locked
shit.
his side piece in a fucking tower after
That's-
kidnapping his main woman. That is so fucked.
Yeah. That's her. David or
Yeah.
just
She looks hypnotized in all honesty. Just
Kind of does.
Jesus.
Yeah,
like her eyes look like a little fogged over.
If they are in the throne room, that is where we must go, but that is where the final battle is to happen.
Wait, don't talk about this.
Right. She's probably thinking about stupid fairy tale shit anyway.
no, you say final battle. Oh, final battle of love. Yeah.
Well, we will do our best to take this woman away so that you can be with your beloved.
I would thank you ever so much.
Do you know of a place in this castle where no one else goes? None of his servants are allowed.
I'm not really sure.
Do
The
people come
castle's
here?
very big. Oh, sometimes.
If you were to tell them
One
to
of the
leave,
witches passed through here, looking for one of her cats or something.
could you lock the door?
If you were to tell people not to enter, would that mean no one can enter but him?
Well, I don't know. I've never tried. Though no one else seems interested in me ever since she got here.
Perhaps that will change soon.
We might need. We will return in a short while, and then we will take this woman from this place. Yes?
Okay. But please hurry.
We will. Let's leave, and then I'll say, I think we should go and find the book, and then come back here and perhaps rest here until. Or actually, maybe we should do a short rest now, then go get the book.
Probably.
I do not believe any of us would be able to get much rest done with her speaking.
We've been traveling for some time. Do you mind if we take a break in your room? Where the witches cannot find us?
In my room?
We will not bother you. We merely need to sit down for a short while.
If you're guests, why don't you rest in your own rooms? This one's mine.
Well, you see,
They're so far from this room, and our legs are weary. This
could use
room
some
is so much nicer than out in the hall, too. Did you see all those spider webs? Absolutely dreadful. Can we stay here?
She is against the idea and will need to be outright persuaded.
Perhaps you could use some company
Please
in your
don't
time
scream.
alone for somebody to talk to.
I don't know, he's moving pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll try and give him advantage.
So-
Stop him as like people you can talk to.
22.
I think 22 has it, probably.
I guess.
We'll keep you company. You said no one's been interested in you since you've been up here. Surely you're dying for conversation.
Yes, just have it with them. And I like my staff.
I'm gonna. Your staff or the odd staff?
I'll
The
Staff that he
my
really wants to
staff of
Oh,
power. I don't
no.
have to attune a musket. And then I'm gonna give
So
the
musket is shooting.
I'm gonna give the sword to him so he can attune it.
Yes.
And then
Tune to the not mace, I guess cudgel, closer to a cudgel.
the femur of fury.
The femur of fury.
I will know when I do get sword, once it's finally attuned, I'm gonna go.
I have the power.
Or something. More like something.
Or Zelda. That's fair.
So,
Wouldn't that just be?
I'll spend the time
Blame.
talking to her. At work,
So you don't have to
keeping her
attune
talking.
anything.
you're talking to her.
Yeah.
However,
rest? Yeah.
there is something that happens.
Can you fucking not?
David, you realize you're making us murder hobos.
20 minutes in, like you're starting to really settle in. You're talking to Gertruda, who says, "Wait, the master is calling. He wants to see me. He wants to see us."
Us, like us too. He wants to see you and us, right?
Okay.
Yes. He's
Knock
told
her
me to
out?
bring you to him.
In the throne room?
Yes.
Knock
He's
her
still
out?
there. Sounds like you've kept him waiting. This is quite rude.
We were unaware. I'm sorry.
I was
Am
looking
I
through-
behind her at this point?
I'll say
I mean, me as well.
Then I'm going to like point to Crack and make like a.
No.
No, it's the same thing we did to the fucking.
The
I'm literally
priest.
making the same motion I did to the priest.
I'm not.
Just like
When she says this, Isaac like starts to raise his hand, but then like sees you do that, and then like puts his hand down.
Okay.
I'm now going to be a.
Oh, like he was about to firebolt her?
No,
No.
like you think he was about to like motion that you should do something like that. But
Oh.
Sasha did it like it's just like
as disappointed as I am to say this, me and Isaac are on the same page here. Just
Yeah.
punch this woman, please.
I'll punch her in the face and I'll
Oh,
regret doing
damn
it.
Punch her in the back of the
Punch her in the
head.
face.
Don't.
Yes, we'll
Spear back
doing
in
it.
like butt
oh,
of the spear.
okay.
punch is going to leave less of a bruise than a weapon.
Yeah, back of the head could be
But back of the
face.
head, not the face.
Yeah. I'll do it in the back of the head.
Well, just do whatever you want.
Or whatever.
Okay. You don't need to roll an attack because her defensive skills are nothing. She's not looking at you. She's not thinking about it. She's elated that Strahd has called upon her in this moment. She is all kinds of distracted.
I
And
was
it's quite
so
easy.
happy for
You were
you.
able to take her out
Crack.
relatively easily. Now, what I will say this means is that this technically doesn't. I'm gonna say maybe it's a little generous, but I'm gonna say this doesn't count as interrupting the long rest officially for anybody except you, because you actually had to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna say it didn't take you that much to like raise, because you can still like talk and stuff while.
Yeah, I mean,
doing it.
you can have a long rest or you can have a short rest interrupted by a combat. All you need to do is just make up for the time that was lost.
Oh, I
So,
didn't
like,
know that. Okay,
Yeah,
never
yeah,
mind.
it doesn't break the whole thing.
Ooh.
I know.
But that's 20 minutes in, which means we still have 40 minutes we have to do, and he knows where we are.
Wait, wouldn't it be 10? The long rest was half an hour.
It's an
Long
hour.
rest is an hour.
Ah, damn, it's an hour.
Or short rest is an hour.
Sure, it's an hour.
Long rest is 8.
Well, then, okay.
He knows exactly.
Well, but he's gonna know where we are, no
Not-
matter where we go.
Not to be too generous, but I actually meant for it to be towards the end of your long rest, so it would have been like 50 minutes in.
Okay. Let's barricade the door. Get these last 10 minutes. So
Oh,
that we can at
God,
least the two
yeah.
games. And do we finish our attunement?
Yes.
Okay, spend those hit points.
Yeah.
So yeah, 3 for you probably.
I'm spending 2.
4, so 5, 10, 12. You got
Great.
12 back. You might have.
12.
So having attuned the staff of power, there are actually a couple more effects that wasn't listed. Most notable for me is a +2 to armor class and all saving throws and spell attacks. So
Oh, yeah.
my saving throws just went up.
Oh, nice!
Yeah, that's why when I read that I was like, oh,
So now you're not stupid easy to hit.
It's a super good
You're only just kind of easy to hit.
It's a super good artifact. To the
Well, it's not,
point.
it's not an artifact, but it is very rare. It's a very
It
powerful
sounds like the effects of an artifact. That's a lot of shit.
I was like, man, this is super good. Is it too easy for it to be found just by speaking his name aloud? And I was like, maybe they won't.
Which is funny because I think there was only one other person where we spoke the person's name.
No, I actually said when we entered the crypt that I'm speaking everyone's name. Like I read it out to everyone. I was just doing it because it makes sense. Sasha walks up, reads it aloud, tries
I
to look
figured
all
it was
important with his
hard.
historial.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he was also reading the names outside, which is why I assume it didn't trigger till after I sent the name to you guys because we were inside the chamber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Out of character, yeah. In character, you probably guess, yeah.
Sasha was just convinced that there would be something magical in there because how often do you find a lich's tomb and it's like, oh, there's nothing in here. That doesn't fucking happen.
Oh, there's nothing in here. X'd it out.
Okay.
So we have 2 of the 3 items.
No, we have
No.
one. That book is fake.
Oh, right. God damn it.
Yep.
And the one we do have, we can't
Can't
use.
use.
Yep.
Prepare to.
If there had been no extra treasure gear in this place, boy, would have been a bummer.
I mean, the statuette is probably going to help a lot.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, we found other cool items, but we haven't found any of the treasure. So what do we do? Do we head to look for the book, or do we risk? My original plan was to use this place to rest, to restore all of my spells, but it does not appear as if that would be possible. Meaning that with what we have remaining, we are going to have to take Irina from the throne room and escape.
Yeah.
An encounter with Strahd. Our best chance of doing it is to do it now, before we have used any more resources, but then we will not be able to obtain the book.
Which he will most assuredly move again or destroy if he has not already done so.
He doesn't
He
have
would
to
not
move
destroy it.
again because is he doesn't know what we know at this time.
Yes. He doesn't know that we murdered one of his servants. As far as he knows, we were thwarted by his trick and have the fake tome. So.
Thinking that this is real.
Did you guys put her back on the bed after you punched her out? Or did you just
Sure.
leave her on the
Yeah,
floor?
you might as well.
That's up to you guys.
It's like, yeah, you never came across guests and Strahd didn't want to see her. It was all a dream. A sad
It
dream.
was all the dream.
It's like, oh, she still doesn't want to see me. And there aren't people here to take that woman away.
So terrible for her.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
We don't know where it is other than it's in the south. So it's not.
We
like
don't even know if we're in the south.
Alright, I'll bring it to a vote. Do we look for the book or do we fight him? Crack. Alright.
Pass on me for now. I'm saying in character. It's fine.
He knows where we are. If he gets impatient, he could start using her as a chip, since she has not been turned yet. I would say now.
I'm going to vote book. Well, what Siguror said is true. I think if he does that, then he loses his bait in the first place. It's better as a threat than as a something that he'll actually do.
Is it?
Probably don't
we
even
know
need to
which
ask
way
him.
he's gonna fucking vote.
I mean, unless he's actually been thinking
Out of character, I must think.
You're trying to get the book. It's harder for us.
about it. The book would make it easier to rescue her,
I don't even know if the book does it.
He says,
Just be a book.
book.
Alright, we will go for the book. Wait.
Book.
No. We should know which way the south is. He's a ranger.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
From
Yeah.
where the vampire was compared to where we are now.
Yeah.
Well, Rangers have like a magical sense of direction, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he's like a shark. He can tell which way is fucking south. We'll just start going south from here.
Well, we could also know if we were south from where we interrogated the vampire.
You don't have a locate object, do you?
I do not. I didn't have enough spells to want to take it for this situation as much as I would help us right now.
That'd be
I already used my arcane recovery.
That'd be funny to know. It was like, you're already in the south. So he hid it in the library, in the study.
I doubt it.
I assume we went, I don't know, we only were in there for fucking 15 minutes.
Well, the south, logically, is like the south of the castle, as in like multiple floors. Even if it is in the south, there's no guarantee.
There's. God, this is so annoying.
And
South side.
I'm checking because I don't believe you're on what the south should be. But you are close.
What was the other one? A fortress within a fortress?
Fortress within a fortress,
Sector by fire.
and you'll find
This room is currently like
the place
in the
hidden
west
behind
of the castle.
You know, maybe if we hadn't punched her out, she would be able to guide us directly to the throne room if that's what we... Well, we decided to go out.
Her room in a castle's super easy to find, usually.
She would have definitely taken you to the throne room. This
Yeah.
was Strahd's request.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have gotten our short rest.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we probably could have stalled for 10 minutes. She would have just been real annoying during those 10 minutes. Oh, actually, I could have been like, oh, you should pretty up for Strahd before you go.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
You know, I might have bought that actually.
I
Yeah.
was like,
We
holy
didn't
shit.
have to punch her out.
Oh, well. We panicked.
Crack strikes again.
Yeah.
Baby.
It's fine.
In the room that you're currently in, there's a room to the south,
Oh, it's fine.
as well as, if I am reading this correctly, a
I get the place number down.
hallway to the north.
Gertrude didn't have, after she got
Gertruda.
knocked out, or Gertruda didn't have anything really valuable in her room after she got knocked unconscious, did she? If I went over her room in her quick 10-minute search.
I'm going to scan over the description, but as of right now, I'm under the impression that there was not.
I kind of didn't think there would be, but.
No.
Yeah. It makes sense. She's not actually important to Strahd.
So do we just want to? Oh yeah, right. We're going for the book first, and then.
Yeah.
So I
See,
guess just start. Man.
the thing I'm more worried about is not Strahd won't actually do something to Irina because then we won't actually have a reason to try to save her. But what Strahd will actually probably do is start sending enemies after us the longer we spend away from
More
him.
XP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a shitty. Well, then let's just go to the fucking throne room. I don't know.
The vote was already for the
It's
book.
fine. It's fine. Let's go fucking get the book. Let's just head south from here. If I had another fucking spell slot.
There is a room south of here.
Let's go there. There was no more specifics than it was moved to the south.
Yes. It was like the south part of the castle, but you could tell, like, from his head, he was just using, like, that general direction. What floor it's on, he didn't know.
Man, you know what actually would have been a really good idea? To knock out the manservant from the front and dig through his mind.
That guy was probably dangerous, like, more so
Yeah,
than...
even if we tied him up, it wouldn't have mattered. He could still mind blast us.
Well, I mean, knock him out, and I don't know if you
I
can
can't
read
read
him.
his
I
mind
don't
while
know.
he's unconscious now. He'd have to be conscious, in which case he could just be like, hey, guess what?
Mind blowing.
Mind blast.
The room south of the room that you are in reveals red satin curtains that hang in archways on both ends of the southern wall. The room itself is dark, and within it, within this chamber, stands a large, ornate iron tub with clawed feet. Moving closer to it, you see the tub is filled with blood.
Grass.
This was right
really
next to
hope-
her room?
Yes.
Oh,
This
he
is
wouldn't
like her
keep
bathroom.
he wouldn't keep like another bride that would be taking a bath right now and come up out of the fucking bloody tub. Would he?
Why don't you check the tub?
I want
Just
to
so
check the tub
concerned.
because I don't want to be the first of tub vampire.
Would you have, during that, reactivated your detect magic? I suppose is my question.
Yeah. Is there anything magical in here?
Not that you detect now.
That's just,
Is there another Is there another door out of here, or is this just her bathroom with the bloody tub?
If I am reading things correctly, there is another door past the tub.
Okay.
Let's
Let's check the room.
I'm still gonna keep my eyes suspiciously on the tub.
oh, do you want to toss
How's
that?
that?
23. What could be in here? You don't know. It could be in any rooms to the south.
We're in the west part of the castle.
Well, not anymore. I said there was a room to the south, and he said, okay, let's go into that room.
Yeah.
Now,
Sorry, I thought it
south
I thought you
of
meant,
the
like,
castle
the south
counts the
section of the castle.
No.
From
Counts
where
a
that
huge
guy
amount
was.
of the
It
castle.
counts just generically in the southern direction. He didn't have a particular place in mind, otherwise he would have pictured it. Would have given it
I was just wondering, just because it
I don't
was.
think we know enough specifics about where the book is.
You
Do
search
you want
the room.
to head to the throne room then? Or?
There's a point where Sasha is close to the tub, and a blood-drenched creature explodes out of the tub and attaches to the ceiling. It cackles maniacally. The blood pours off its pale white flesh, bony limbs, and stringy hair as it scuttles away.
Blast it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let
Is
it
there magic
scuttle
coming
away.
from it? With magic detect magic?
Yes, but it's weird. It's not like a specific school. Sometimes, you're aware that sometimes certain terrible impressions can be left through actions and
So it's like
On
an illusion,
places.
but like a non-spell illusion. It's like
Kind
a
of.
ghost echo.
yeah,
Oh, it's like Mungo.
kind of. Yeah.
Okay. It's not even real, don't worry about it. I mean, it's real, but it's not. It's no threat. It's like that movie, like Mungo, you know, we all saw that. I'm joking.
What's the movie stuff?
Well, it's a sort of, it's a spell projection. No, it's an illusion projected onto a wall.
First makers of movies in D&D are just a bunch of illusionists. That is what
Be a
they-
high-level illusionist. Yeah.
Yeah, high level
Like
absolutely.
major image, you could make a movie, just
Yeah.
have an auditorium.
In fact, I would imagine that in a high magic fantasy, there probably are movie theaters owned by illusionists where they just either illusionists or bards, and basically bards would be like script writers. They would call it like magic plays or something. I'd have a fancy name, like a spell play, I guess.
That sounds really cool. When she scuttles away, what did you get on perception?
I got a 23. How did I not find what it was?
19?
There's
No,
some-
wait, 22.
There's something I forgot. I'm just gonna give it to somebody else.
22. So we're on perception.
You notice, though, people would have found it regardless, that there's some other curtains that weren't immediately noticeable that go to what appears to be some kind of closet area because there are a number of black cloaks and formal wear and stuff that's inside.
Oh.
Nothing that pings magical.
Does it look like it could be like a uniform for the castle?
Nah. These look like noble clothes.
The southern part of the castle is gigantic. We could be looking for days.
Could
Unless we have some sort of way of determining what it is.
Could we potentially chop off a large part of the castle from where we interrogated the vampire? From
this
his
book
position to
have
the
a
south.
name on it?
The fake one, you mean?
Yeah.
It may have. I'm going to check.
While we debate, I'm gonna put on some of that dinnerware. Or a throne room.
The fancy clothes.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dead old people. I say that as a joke, like I'm not carrying the staff of a dead old guy.
You find that it
And we're
is,
carrying around the fever of a person.
Hey, she told you to take that.
Yeah. That was not theft. She
Yeah.
gave it willingly. You know, I think Sasha has the same staff that your wizard in 3.5 does. I think we're staff twins.
The book did not have a label on it, but it did have a crest on the front.
A crest.
Yes.
Is it the
Which you-
crest of Star?
Yeah, it's
So locate an object. You need to locate an object that you're familiar with. Since this is a convincing recreation of the real item, can I use it to cast the locate object to find a spell to find the real one?
only because he specifically made it so detailed to trick you.
Okay. Then I'm going to, since we know Irina's in the throne room, I don't need to use locate creature to find her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a 4th level spell slot to cast a 2nd level spell, which wounds me
Oh.
in my soul
Oh.
to do that. To cast locate object, and I'm going to attempt to locate the real version of this item. It should ping twice, obviously the one I have in my hand, but whenever I can ignore that. But it should also ping, and if we're within 1,000 feet and it goes through walls, but it won't go through any amount of lead. So if you're about to tell me that all these walls are made with thin sheets of lead in the middle of them, I'm gonna be really fucking upset.
I'll have to do some additional research, but I don't think so.
Like, who the fuck does that in a castle?
I should be able.
Sorry.
I should be able to determine if the real one is within 1,000 feet of me, and if it's not, we'll just keep going south until it pings, and then we'll find it that way.
You are able to
Additionally,
determine.
because I cast a 4th level divination, I get a 3rd level spell slot back.
Oh, hey.
You are able.
I wanted that 4th level spell slot to be able to cast fucking fly upcast so I can cast it on 2 people, but whatever.
You are able to determine you are able to determine its location, which I will reveal to the rest of the audience next time. Right now, I am artist David Harper on Instagram, Twitter, itch.io. I have a Patreon for an animated project called Treasure Takers. Guess what that's about? As well as something else that we'll be talking about in the future. And of course, I've run this game for Lights Camera Initiative. What about yourself?
Marvelous. You can find more of me at Lights Camera Initiative on Twitter, where I speak for some people some of the time. Additionally, on Thursdays, I'm on the Tainted Lands of Antimor game for the Tainted Lands Twitch channel. You can catch that at 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I play a cleric in that. It's pretty cool. He's not your normal cleric. He's definitely a bit unusual. And yeah, check that out.
Cool. Any last words that any of you want to share before we say goodbye?
We've been going some pretty good places. We've got some
Yep.
pretty good stuff.
It was his share. What do you want to share? If the answer is nothing, then it's fine.
Yeah, it's something for now.
Cool. Is there anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Nope.
Then I will say goodbye.
Bye.
That's it.